Hello everyone, welcome back in Tier 2 Talk. It's been a little while, Josh, since we've had a look at the old Tier 2 scene, but we're here, of course, returning the three-peat for the gents on our right, of course. It's the Viperio lads. It's kind of weird. Has it been every time you've been on the show? Have you been under a different name?
Yes,
Yes.
There you
I
go.
think it is. Yeah. Well,
Forever
hopefully it
home.
won't be the case for the
And-
fourth time.
And I think you've lost every time before you've come on. I'm pretty sure was the last official.
It's a nice one there, Josh. Thanks for that.
Well, how are you
Could
doing?
have said
First
the
and
last
foremost?
stream.
Yeah. How you doing, gents? You doing well?
Yeah, we're doing well. It's been a long week. Lots of games, lots of stuff. Like pretty much like 13, 14-hour days every day, 50, maybe even more. Not a lot of sleep. Lots of time used to play the games and prepare for the games, and then whenever we're not doing that, it's building the strat book out, getting this and getting that. So it's been incredibly busy for us. Yeah.
Just before we start, actually, do you guys want to maybe give some insight onto the boot camp that you guys are having right now? Just so then everyone kind of knows what's going on before we start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. So with Viperio and then Zutak's help, we were doing 7 days in Poland in the Kingwin facility, which is like, I think the best facility in Europe. I would say. Like, I think anyone we've spoke to has said like this is the best facility, and like it's unbelievable. It's like top of the range, just everything. Like for me, like I wake up pretty early, and like it's something that like I wouldn't have kind of realized. It's like I can get here very early because everyone sleeps in the facility, so you can kind of just start as soon as you can. And if you're if you're staying off site, maybe you're waiting around for taxis or waiting around for everyone to get ready. So like it's just literally wake up, shower, whatever, get some breakfast, and then just instantly just start going at the day. Like it's incredible, this facility. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the Kingwin facility here, the Esports Performance Center in Warsaw, is like you'd be very hard pressed finding a better bootcamp facility. So whenever we qualified for the RMR, we were just like, it's a priority to get a bootcamp in here to just try and raise the level of the team as fast as possible, so that we have a chance. So yeah, no, it's been fantastic. Like Tom says, we've been able to come in here as early as we want, leave as late as we want. The computers are spaceships. I'm pretty sure they stole them from NASA, or the International Space Station. I'm not sure how they got them. So no, it's been fantastic. There's entertainment floor. The accommodation's fantastic as well. So it's great.
All right, well, I think Kingwin's got enough of a plug right there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, fucking, I'll send him an invoice later. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, glad to see, of course, gents. We'll be talking a little bit as to why you're in boot camp and whatever later down the line in the RMR, of course. We can start maybe a little more local, humble yourselves a little bit before we get to the good stuff. We can talk UK Counter-Strike, and of course, what UK event has happened? EPIC.LAN. Of course, it's number 38 of the EPIC series. You guys turned up, hot competitors of Coalesce, a banging grand final, may I say. But again, the grand final, you know, I guess the lore continues with you guys missing out again. Do you want to talk us through a little bit, maybe through your run before we get to that moment, and have a little chat about sort of the lead up to that, the teams that you've played, whatever. I'll bring it up for everyone at home to see, just so they can get a bit of a feel as what's going on there as well.
As far as I can remember, the run at EPIC.LAN was fairly smooth up until we had to play Coalesce in the upper bracket grand final. I don't think we dropped them up. No, did we? Did we drop them up to somebody? Oh no, we dropped them up to Jack B's mix. Yeah, that's right. On Inferno, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean that's the upset map in the pool for us. So and we weren't really playing Inferno very well there at that time. So and they played really good, so they got that map. But yeah, no, it was a very smooth event up to that point. Obviously, we knew that the hard game was going to come against Coalesce. We had a really, I don't know, we were just caught cold in the upper bracket grand final, totally caught cold, which is fair enough. They played better and they came out on top. And then we rematched in the grand final, and you know, didn't go our way on the final map. There was a lot of unfortunate rounds for us, and you know, they made some good plays and they were able to like clutch it out there. The round that comes to mind is Shine's collat kill on A bomb site when the bomb's being defused. I feel like if they don't win that round, they're probably not going to win the game. It was very early on in the half as well. So yeah, that's a round that comes to mind. That sort of dictated the whole final. To be perfectly honest. And then they were worthy winners. They played a lot better. They managed to come back. I think it was a 10-5 half for us. And they got there, So fair play.
Was this the first time that you guys have actually had to play in the morning of in the lower bracket? Because I think one thing that we've always seen, especially when Dusty even had like their streak a few epics ago, is that lower bracket campaigns are insanely difficult just because of the amount of games you're playing. Now, obviously, you only had to play one extra game, but it's the morning of the grand final. So does that sort of change quite a bit on how you look at games and playing super early rather than just having the leverage of getting straight into the grand final?
I don't think so. I think Arctic Raptors suffered the most from that because they play the night before at 10 o'clock, and I think their game finished at 12, and then they're expected to play the next morning at 9, or I think it might have been 8. And like for us, we went that Saturday evening. We went back to hotels maybe 10 o'clock, half 10, and we were in the EPIC.LAN hall pretty early. I think we got there at like 6, 7 a.m.
7 o'clock, 6
So
o'clock.
and that's with good sleep. So those guys like strolled in behind us at kind of like maybe 8:30, 8:45, but like 10 minutes before the game, which is like, their BO3 finished at 12 o'clock, and then like they're kind of probably settling down, which takes a few hours, and then they get back to the hotel, it takes a few hours. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that team struggles the most because they have to play super late and then super early. That's like, there's no time to prepare as well, especially like Arctic Raptors. I would say like, we would need to like have a prepared anti-strat and kind of in-depth look of like how we're playing and like what the plan is. But it was probably really forced, and we're like, right, we're going to go this map and we're going to do this strat, but like if it doesn't work, we've lost. So I think that team, and like any EPIC.LAN going forward, is always going to struggle.
I want to touch on the Raptors quickly, actually, Kieran, just because obviously we'll talk about them later on because they've made changes. What did you think about them? Because obviously you played them twice in this event.
What do you mean regards their
like
performance
just the
at the LAN?
style, performance, just anything, like thoughts about Arctic Raptors at the moment.
I'll be honest, I was expecting much harder games from the ESEA game that we played them than in the regular season. We played shocking, but they played pretty good to get the win. I thought after they beat us that they would stay up because we're not a bad team in advanced, and if they're able to beat us on a bad day, then they should be able to stay up. But unfortunately, they weren't able to on the last day. So, then the changes come in. So, regard their performance at EPIC.LAN, all I seen was their performances against us, and it was fairly simple, to be perfectly honest. It was everything was sort of in front of us and very straightforward. They didn't throw anything tricky at us and nothing very complicated. So, I expected it to be fairly straightforward, and it was.
Fair enough. Don't think there's much else to comment on, right? I guess what Vitalize have just made changes or disbanded. K10 didn't really have the greatest of events, but they were playing with 2 stand-ins, right? It was Wolfie and Parko or Zarko. And then who else is what? E-Masters, I guess. But again, they're like, I think they did what we would expect from them, right? Like they got what top 4 in this event, kind of what we thought out of them in the first place. Yeah, easy stuff.
And I would say E-Masters did well. Don't underestimate the map they took off. They took Ancient off Coalesce, and like that might be a weaker map in their pool, Coalesce, but it's certainly not. They should be winning it against a main team. So like that was a big win. I remember watching it, going, "What is going on?" And not to take it away from E-Masters, but I think everyone would have expected a 2-0 there. Considering that like the sort of top 3 in the UK are all pretty good teams, top 100 HLTV. There's no mugs in that bracket. So I was very impressed with E-Masters. E-Masters always do well at LAN. I think E-Masters are 1 or 2 pieces away from actually being a pretty good advanced team, to be perfectly honest.
I think as well, just to give you some insight on like our team before that EPIC.LAN, like it was complete madness. Like Javi had to stop playing, and then we had to bring in Bevy, and then like 2 days before EPIC.LAN, Javi's back, and he hasn't played for a month, and like he's done a fantastic job, but like inner games were like, okay, you're gonna play this position, okay, that hasn't worked, you're gonna play this position. It was proper crazy. Like we had a good time. Not to take away from Coalesce, because they did deserve to come back and beat us, like, but we couldn't adjust in time. But that whole period for us was crazy.
Fair enough. I guess, Josh, you wanted to talk about maybe the Shush GG boys?
Yeah, like
Rory,
the Rory, Crifes, Zulu, and Shubi mix going out in first round of playoffs up against a team that we nearly beat in a best of one. I mean, I don't even know what happened there, but yeah, apparently they showed up quite well. Godku and Dombox's team. So yeah, that was probably the biggest upset I think in the playoffs.
I think I might have had an influence on that one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Godku Joe, and he came to me in between games, in between maps for that best of 3. It might have been series actually, and he said to me, Don Box is calling, he won't let me IGL. And I said, is he an idiot? You should be calling, you're a really good IGL. I'm not even trolling. And he went back, he swear to God, he went back to the team and he went, guys, you guys are trolling. Biscu says you need to let me IGL. And he did, and he started IGLing and then he won that game. And that's not even a troll, so fair play, Godku, man. And he got his team into me in as well from intermediate this season. So there you go. There's another UK roster sort of on the rise.
Nice.
All right.
There we have it. Wrap up. Move on. CCT, Josh, I guess is probably the next bit we want to talk about. We know the North Europe that doesn't have North Europe teams in, but we'll roll with it. It's series number 4, which means, of course, afterwards they're on. It's the actual like studio event, right? That's how it's meant to work now. Like they've done the.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
they're the next one.
After 4 series, they get to go to the it's the top 3 teams from each region go to the studio finals. So we can have a chat.
And then some invitees and what have you.
Yeah. So we can have a look at the overall standings. We'll start with the Swiss stage, right? And maybe we can talk about some of the teams that are playing here. Josh, your favourite team playing in this event, the old Voivoda boys. We'll get to those in a sec.
Absolutely.
I want to start at the bottom half of the table though, gents, because on the topic of I guess UKCS, but more EU for Endpoint now. Harvu tricked Godsent, ITB go 0-3, and then Sinners, Mouse and XT, Let Us Cook, Endpoint also go 0-3. Josh, don't quite know really. I'd have thought better maybe a little bit for both teams, especially the ITB trick game. I thought they were gonna own them.
Yeah, I mean, possibly so. I mean, I think we do find with these kind of main Swisses, you might just get some early exits from time to time. It doesn't always become a consistent element, but yeah, that is kind of surprising. I mean, even for Tricked, they're very much in flux at the moment. I think Nodius has now left. They've obviously been dropped by the organization. Yeah. We don't even know what the prac schedules are like. Are they going to continue as a full 5? I think they've dropped ones. They'll probably be looking for another player. Harvu, I mean, I think Airax was like standing in with them because they've made 3 roster changes in the last like couple of months or so. Yeah. Just absolute madness. But yet they kept winning games. They actually played very well over the course of this main Swiss stage, beating some very good teams. So yeah, don't know what to think about them. And then Godsent, well, they've got Joel. But I guess you guys played them. So what do you think of that? Because Joel's been an absolute monster right now in recent times for Godsent.
I think we were quite pleased with John Godsent in the first instance, actually.
Really?
Oh yeah, we don't fear those guys at all. Like, there's not an iota of fear. Maybe that's foolish or naive, but like, we don't think they're a good team. They've got good. Good. They've got good players. Like, we watched their demos and we were just like, it's not impressive. I'm not saying we're unbelievable, but like, there was no fear. But like, to be perfectly honest, like, I think you can somewhat excuse Into the Breach because they were playing they got to the playoffs in another CCT during this Swiss. They played 500 and then got knocked out, but like, that was during these games, and those are hard games. Like, Havu, Tricked, and Godsent are tricky games, regardless of what I believe about them. But when we drew Godsent, we were quite happy actually, because out of the possible teams to play. And we got a good game plan, and I think we match up well.
Okay, maybe we touch on some of the other results. I mean, you got Sinners in the second game, classic Sinners. They're not the Sinners that everyone remembers, at least Ryan and I. What are they like in this current day? Because I think without Neofrag and sort of with Oscar coming back in, it hasn't felt like it's the same level of where they once were, like in and around the top 30.
Yeah, do you want to take that one, Tom?
Yeah, it can be, I think. I'm not entirely sure about their new pickup, but like, they still have Oscar, Shockset, Kumbistic, which are top tier 2 players for sure. And they've been into that top 30. Playing against it, they're our kryptonite. We can't beat them. If anyone knows how to beat Sinners, please contact me on my Twitter DMs. Just anything, anything can help, because apparently we can't beat them. We can't predict their vetoes. We don't have no idea, and then just Oscar farms. So I don't know. I think maybe they can get back. Just purely because they have the 4. I'm not entirely sold on the 5th. But I think that's always that's very hard. They're replacing Neofrag, and then even Forzy, he was really good for them. But then they just pick up Oscar. But it's okay, well, I guess Oscar is better. And then the Zero then leaves as well, and I thought Zero was really good. And I'm just, it's very whoever's going to come into that team is always going to have a really hard time replacing the 5th, because the previous 5ths have just been unbelievable players. So I think they just probably need time. I think the 4 of them are just unbelievable, and they'll eventually get back up to the level that they played at. But us playing them, I don't know. It's just impossible. Not sure.
Okay. What about Ecstatic? Because obviously, Ryan, they just qualified to Melbourne, didn't they? They
Yes.
in the closed qual, which was very surprising when you compare what teams. I mean, there was Copenhagen Flames in there, there was Aurora in there, and it's okay, maybe Aurora are one of the heavy favorites, but I mean, not that we'll talk about the qual that much, but just in general, knowing Ecstatic's kind of recent form, because we had them on just before they went to the RMR, and then they didn't really show that much there. So have you played or scrimmed much of Ecstatic outside of this 1 best of 3?
Wasn't that the first time we played them, that roster? I think.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we prepared for that game, and quite similarly to Godsent, we weren't impressed by what it was they were doing. That's not to say they're not a good team. We weren't seeing things that we were going, that's really good or that's really dangerous. Despite me saying that, we did actually take a few things off them. There was some stuff they did that was good, but when we played them, after we lost, we actually were really disappointed. It wasn't oh well, they're a good team, well, unlucky. It was we definitely could have won that game. So that, and we reviewed the game as well, and we knew we definitely could have won the game. So it is impressive that they qualified for Melbourne. That actually made me rethink that game a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't have been so disappointed. Maybe they are becoming a good team, and we're going to see that going forward. Hopefully they'll do very well at Melbourne. I love that underdog story. But yeah, no. In that moment when we lost, we were very disappointed. We thought that's an opportunity there that we've let slip.
Okay. And then, yeah, maybe just give some thoughts on the last couple of games. I mean, K23, they're not the K23 that
No.
we remember as well, Ryan.
No.
That's Jo and arTisT balance still there.
It's not
Yeah.
great.
But it's not the Neil and Norbert, Fame, Mo, Adren kind of team. It's very different these days. So 2-0ing them, and then the Let Us Cook guys, which is where Maze was before he went to Sprout. So yeah, give me some thoughts on those 2 games.
Let Us Cook. I'll let you do Let Us Cook, Tom. K23. Yeah, it's like you said, they're not the same roster. Although that being said, they still have arTisT balance. They still have JU, and if you actually look at the game, JU plays very good. arTisT balance not so much. I think that's because of the game plan that we implemented. Sort of neutralized him on both of the maps. We did very well at that. So yeah, it was a nice swift sort of 2-0. It looked very convincing as well, which I was quite happy with. It was a good performance. The teamwork was good, and the ideas and the game plan worked very well. So I was very happy with that game. Yeah, and then Let Us Cook.
The Let Us Cook game, it literally came down to the smallest of things. One round, we lost we did lose to them, but it was one of those losses that we took a lot away from them, and because we're at boot camp as well, it's better that it's happened then. Do you know what I mean? So we can instantly talk about it and okay, the next time this type of round happens, we're gonna do this and this and this. Or we're just instantly just end it. So I think it's actually the benefits that we took from that game. It would have been better if we won it, but I don't know. I think we got more benefits from losing than winning it. To me, maybe it's a bit of a shitty answer, but I don't know.
No, I think you're right, Tom. I think we learned a lot from the review. We went back and watched it, and we went, especially with the comps being recorded, it was very easy to identify where the mistakes came from, and they're really small mistakes. I mean, it looks big in the game when you watch it, but it's very fine margins. And unfortunately, they went in their favor and we weren't able to win. I mean, it looks like a bad result, 2-0, but like, you know, that could have been 2-0 in our favor at one round, gone a different way in both games. So it's just it was unfortunate, and maybe we could have played a little bit better as well, and we knew that after we did the review.
Now, obviously, you guys haven't, like, again, for like the last, 12 months, 18 months, you guys don't frequently play on HLTV like these teams do, right? That these guys are on here every single week, every single day. So do you think it's actually been a benefit that you've had so many officials while you're at boot camp rather than sort of being at boot camp and not having as much officials?
So we did talk about it like the week kind of before the boot camp. Was like, should we accept these competition invites or should we not? Do you know what I mean? Should we focus more on practicing and just scrimming? But I think we've all kind of came away that it was a good decision. Just to kind of simulate like kind of what it's going to be like at the RMR. Do you mean kind of like just to play like kind of these type of teams? Like at the RMR, we're playing Tier 1, but I think it was important to like, you know, we're like learning very fast. I think there's a difference between losing in a scrim or like looking at the mistakes in a scrim compared to looking at the mistakes in officials. In scrims, even the teams you play against, they don't play like completely at 110%. Where in officials, you know, they're making always the correct decisions, or they're always trying to make the correct decisions. Where in scrims, you know, they might swing something that they definitely shouldn't, just, you know, because it's a scrim, it's a practice game. So I think it was actually like very beneficial to play like this many like BO3s or whatever, or just on HLTV, just because I think the benefit we got from taking like every loss, like we took so much away from it. I think like that, I think we wouldn't have gained so much at this bootcamp if we didn't do that. So I think overall, I think it was a good decision.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly seriously considered how to optimize the bootcamp. I think most experienced teams that regularly play in the HLTV events, having qualified for the RMR, probably wouldn't have accepted the invites, but we're not that team, like you mentioned. So we had to make a decision whether or not we wanted to sort of sacrifice that quality time to get some more experience right before the RMR. And there is no better time, a better opportunity to learn from, you know, your mistakes than from a loss or from a victory in an official setting. And I don't think we've played that many HLTV games in such a short space of time in the core's history. And we've performed okay and good at times. So when you take those losses and you learn a lot from them. So I feel like it's actually been very good for us. I think we're improving at a faster rate than we have probably done previously because of it.
Fair enough.
Should we move on, Ryan?
Yeah, nothing much else to say. I think the playoffs is meant to be starting in 2 days.
Can I just say quickly?
Tomorrow.
Ryan?
Yeah.
With the playoffs, 500 versus Voivoda. If anyone's keen on the playoffs, get in on that game.
Yeah, I
That's
wonder
all I've
why.
got.
Josh loves it. Josh loves the Bulgarian team. To be fair, that is actually a really sick matchup. So yeah, 100% worth a watch there. I do believe we can talk a little bit about Elisa now, right? That's the last event we have sort of on the cards for this one. Love these guys. They do their job very well. Probably one of the most enjoyable productions I think we have in Tier 2. They just concluded the main Swiss stage, Josh. It's a bit sad because a couple of these teams forfeiting due to, I think, scheduling with RMRs and stuff, which it happens. Like, this is the issue with these events. Is like the calendar. There's not enough days in the year. Like, actually now, there's not enough days in the year for us to have all of these events plus the RMRs and RMR qualifiers and what have you. So you'll see there's a lot of scoreless games. That just means they're forfeited. Again, we can start from the bottom. One team I think I wanted to have a little chat about is the team straight last, Josh. And actually, to be fair, both teams straight last, 0-3 for Apex and 500. For 500, kind of understandable, they forfeited 2 games. But for Apex specifically, 0-2 against Godsent, 0-2 against Young Ninjas, 1-2 against Dynamo EPIC.LAN. I don't know what happened to them, but for a team that's attending the RMR, I think the results probably you wanted to see a little bit better than that.
Yeah, if you could, Ryan, get up the Apex versus Godsent game, might be able to bring a little bit of like context in that first one. But I think in general, because I casted both of the first main Swiss and the second main Swiss, I casted both of the Apex games, and the one against Godsent, I mean, they just lost to Joel. Joel played unbelievable on both maps in the series. Like I think he went 35-5 or something in map 1. if I remember, or it might have been map 2 actually.
35 and 9 in map 2. There you go.
So yeah, just lost to Joel. So okay, it's one game, bounce back, losing to Young Ninjas. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was just very confused. Like it looked like tactically Apex just weren't able to benefit at all. They were getting rolled over completely. And then obviously I didn't get to see the EPIC.LAN result. But you're 100%, you're bang on the money. And I think for Apex, like, yes, they've qualified to the RMR, but you can't be putting up results like this. Like, it's as simple as that. When you've made that kind of sort of trajectory of getting to an event like that, and with the players that they've got in this lineup, we shouldn't be seeing 0-3s in main Swisses.
It should be 3-0s. These guys should be comfortably in playoffs every day of the week, right? Like, I don't think there's any...
But I think it's not even just this event. I think in general for Apex, like outside of the RMR, this has been a struggle for the last 6 months, I would say. So you wonder what it is like with the players that they have on the lineup, because I think they've got a lot of talent. They've got tier 1 players that are now playing in tier 2 on that team.
It's true. Yeah, it is very true.
You think maybe like because they're preparing for the RMR, they're trying new things, or they're changing too much of their strat page or something like that? Do you mean like maybe it's like, and then they dive too much?
Though?
I don't know. Like it could be that though. Like you never know, because that is a strange result.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird result. Like you wouldn't suspect that. So I don't know. Yeah. You never know. Like there's something going on there that's not right. So, but you never know what it is, because that's just not right. So.
Their round difference isn't too bad there. What is it? Minus over 3 games. I mean, they haven't lost. I mean, if they lost 2-0, 2-0. I mean, you never know what's really behind these losses. I mean, didn't Sticko go on HLTV confirmed and sort of big up the fact that they were just out of a boot camp and they were unreal or something? So maybe like he just invited a curse onto his team or something like that. Those things can happen.
Maybe they're saving strats for the major.
Or maybe they're saving strats for the major, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I think across the board though, Ryan, I mean, I don't know how much of the main Swiss, did you get to cast any of it? Or?
No, I was watching a bit of it though. I did watch a bit of it.
Okay. Yeah, I think Harvu, very surprising with the 3-0, but then again, they beat Young Ninjas, which isn't a surprise, and then they got a forfeit in the second, and then Monty even forfeited map 3. So I think, unfortunately, in the main Swiss, there was a lot of forfeits in maps and a lot of forfeits in series. In terms of the playoffs, I mean, Monty nearly beat Big again. And they were actually up 18-15 on Overpass for Monty and just couldn't quite close it out. I don't know what it is with Big in these tier 2 online cups, Ryan, but they lose to everyone.
Yeah. I think I remember the last big online event they played was probably the Rubek Cup, right? Like, and they won that. They beat like FaZe. Didn't they win the whole event?
They did, yeah. But that was against tier 1 teams.
And yeah, exactly that. But as soon as they drop down a bit, it doesn't look as pretty for them. Obviously, Gamer Legion winning the event is pretty cool. Now, obviously, Josh, that it's not an inside scoop. We're not here leaking anything. They had the Espo event last year. Whether they're going to do the same again this year, I'd hope so. I really hope they do. Gamer Legion, if they do, probably have a slot for that. That's also the collateral. Another reason why I'd like to think Apex wouldn't sandbag in this tournament is because not only is it money now, but later down the line, there's that massive LAN event that could happen. Just play your BO3s, I guess. 80k losing to Copenhagen Flames, Josh?
Nah, no surprise there. I'm very surprised they even got an invite, to be honest.
That was the bit I was going to talk about, is like 80k, yeah. Who knows, right? Movistar Riders obviously beating Harvu, kind of... Harvu Eyeballers is a really interesting game on paper, but again, 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, I got to cast all of these games. That Movistar Harvu game, I don't know what was going on. Like, just both teams, I think... Movistar Riders 16-2 at map 1 and then won 2 rifle rounds on their map pick. And it's like, what's happening? Like, Movistar Riders online are really rough. I don't know. Have you had the chance of playing them at all?
Movistar? I think
we played the old lineup. We haven't played the new lineup.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I think
they're a very good team, Movistar.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No. Like, I mean,
I like Movistar Riders.
These before Sampaias went out, they were what, 8th or like 10th?
They should
in the world, and then like
they just Cologne run, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just lost. I don't know. And then it's not even like Martinez is a good player as well. I don't know. It could just be like, like once again you're replacing the 5th, which is Sampaias, which is he's a rifle, he's an op, he can do it all. I mean, so I don't know. I think they probably just need time. but I don't know.
I mean, online, coming into this event, Ryan, they hadn't won a best of 3 online for 4 months, and they were one win and 10 losses in best of 3s. Like on LAN, I think they've actually done very well in Pro League, and they did well in that Malta event. But I don't know, Movistar Riders online, very similar to Big. And then across the board, I mean, Gamer Legion were just unreal in this bracket, not even dropping a map, putting a solid performance up in the finals. I think that they're the most consistent team in Tier 2 right now. I don't think
Gamer
there's
Legion
Yeah, for
any
sure.
there.
Yeah,
Gamer
since the
Legion are
major,
fantastic team. Fantastic team. I haven't done enough praise for them.
I copy a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, same. I try to be as much like Ash as possible.
There you go. If Ash is listening.
Yeah. Is he?
There's
Okay,
a
well,
lawsuit.
there you
No,
go.
I don't know. He might be. There's a lawsuit potentially waiting to happen. I don't know. Oh, he is in the chat. There you go. So
What about Nine quickly, actually? Because I think they're a team that have been able to win quite a few events and go very deep. They went out in the round of 12 against Monty.
Yeah, nine are a great team. I think I like Nine as well. They have let me just grab them here on the thing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean they lost to Monty here. I mean I don't think this is a disgrace result, to be honest, as some people might like point it out to be. I think Monty, they on their day can trade blows with most teams, to be perfectly honest. I mean Nine, in my opinion, are one of the more consistent teams going. Like they just run through most teams, to be perfectly honest. Watch their demos a lot as well. They're very good, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Sorry, I dropped my pen.
Whoa. Taking notes already. No. Yeah, I don't really have much else to add on Nine's part. I think they did. They played in the Quali 4.
The showdown, yeah.
Yes.
Is that what you mean for Blush?
No. They played in There was another event they qualified to, and it was all like the big names, and they it wasn't Melbourne.
I Am Rio.
I Am
Rio. They
that's
qualified.
the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, did very well in that. I had the privilege of watching them with Yumi, and they played Monty in that actually, and I think they beat Monty, and it went 2-1. Yeah. So there was a bit.
I think that sounds right.
There.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nine side I'm pretty impressed with. I think give them a bit more time and they'll look a little bit better. But I think so far, like you've got to understand that Hades move happened like end of last year, start of this year, right? It hasn't been
this year.
One that hasn't been for long, and the fact that they're already where they are, considering they changed the AURT piece, is pretty impressive. And obviously we were just talking about how much one change can affect you. So yeah, fair play to Nine. A little bit disappointing maybe. Monty obviously going out to Big, so maybe they'd have suffered.
To be fair, I will say that game that Monty played against Nine, I don't think I've ever seen an individual like basis of a team ever be that sharp. Like that really caught my eye because all 5 of them were just on. And I think it does show for Monty with their kind of play style that if you have individuals that can like work picks and like just work X Factor, they're a very scary team. And I think for Tier 1 teams, if they come down and ever face a Monty in any of these qualifiers or online events, it's just upset central with that team.
Yeah, they play in a very upset way as well. Like they have like really strong individuals, but like their play styles, like they kind of double up or something. Like you wouldn't really double up in, and like you wouldn't suspect them to be there, but they are, and they really they could definitely do a good damage at the RMR, I think. Just purely because of the individual level, but like how they play together is quite high.
All right, we can wrap it up there.
Easy, nice, happy days. We can obviously move on to our second topic of today then, which is obviously ongoing events. There's only a couple that we want to have a chat about, Josh. I think other events probably wait until other episodes.
Yeah, we got some coming up soon.
Yeah, we got. There is going to be some flame to be had. It's all bubbling up, Josh. It's all bubbling up, I tell you. We can start with West Europe, right? I think that's another.
Oh, that's
CCT
a cracker
event.
right there. Yeah.
Wanna have a chat, Josh? Why is it a cracker? Talk to me.
We just saw the best of 3. So do you guys want to give insight? Because I think this is the first time, honestly, that we've ever had guests come on that have just played a best of 3. So actually, you might be able to kind of give us a little bit more detail because it's like fresh in your mind. Obviously, playing ITB a few hours ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't actually broke the VOD down or the demos or even the recordings of the comm shit, but just a very surface level reaction to that best of 3 is that we feel like we should have won a 2-0 and that we let it slip on Inferno. We had a good game plan going into Inferno. we had a really good idea of what it is they needed to do in order to win on Inferno, because we knew they were going to pick it. So it was very disappointing to push them all the way to OT and not snatch it away from them. But they played well, and there was a few very minor things that sort of made the difference in their favor. Obviously, they're a very good team, and Inferno's their best map, so it's like maybe a little bit arrogant to think we're going to get them on their best map. But that's what you have to be able to dare to win. Sometimes you have to be like, well, we're going to beat them on their best map because we're going to do this differently and we're going to do that. And we did do those things. It was just in certain, maybe a couple of 3v3s in certain moments, it could have been slightly tighter teamwork-wise. Maybe bad decision here or there. Like it seems very minor when you're watching. When you review the game later on, you can go, right, well, that's why we lose this round, or we could have been more competitive on this retake, for example. So yeah, that's sort of the surface sort of level reaction. Anubis goes really well. Good game plan there. We sort of identified that as a weakness, even though if you actually look at their results, they're doing pretty well on Anubis. Some good results, but it looks like when you watch the demo spec that they're not 100% comfortable on Anubis yet, and they actually don't have a lot, as opposed to some other teams. And Anubis is still so new and fresh, where the game plans can be made very easily and be sort of adhered to. So we were sort of unfortunate not to win at 2-0, but then obviously it goes to Vertigo, and we're still very confident that we can win it. But they had a very good start, and they're obviously very competent on Vertigo as well. So it was a tough series, but against a tough opponent, you can't win them all.
Fair.
I think like, do you see, like, say a week ago, yeah, you would have ITB kind of just slapping us. I think, like, you know, it probably is a 2-0 to them. You know, maybe it's a 16-12, 16-10, 16-8. You know what I mean? They probably end up winning. This was a very competitive game that I would say both sides probably would have said, you know, they could have won, whatever. But I think purely it came down to us having a boot camp. You know, that's really just drove us to like get this good this fast, which is also like such a benefit. You know, to actually play them like at the boot camp, like, because I think, like, you know, a week ago they probably just on us, to be honest. But like, I think the improvement, like us bringing them to Inferno overtime, us, do you mean we're horrible at Inferno? Not anymore, boys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a close game, so it's unfortunate.
I was gonna say, there's Kai, Mr. Cypher, asked a question in the chat. I know it's not Q&A yet, but he asked, can I ask Biscu how comes you guys stacked A so much? That's what
on which map? We played 3 maps.
He's just said, why have you stacked A so much? Is there a map in particular, or
what map is he talking about?
If you look behind his whiteboard.
Inferno.
Oh yeah, hold on.
He said Inferno.
You can break it down.
No, don't look at that. That didn't work.
He said Inferno.
Inferno?
Yep. He said, how comes you guys stacked A so much?
Guess James got B on lock, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so there's just only need one guy there, man. You know, you just aren't getting in, and he's didn't, so that's why. So well, eventually he's did, I suppose he's won, but no, it was just part of the analysis. I was like going too much into it, unfortunately. I can't really say too much, but like that, it wasn't really like. The game plan was like, we're gonna put 5 people on A. I guess that the communications were really good, and the reads and perceptiveness and amongst the team was good, to the point where we felt like that was an option. So I would say that's probably why, rather than it was like decided before the game.
It kind of was, to be honest. Like, we thought Kai played B, so we just went A. You know, just not go near him. Do you know what I mean? We just wanted to be away from him, and if it was B, we'd just save. But then Jack, you know, or Gizmy had a few kills. So.
That's the polite way of saying your B-hold sucks, Kyle. Yeah, I don't know. We can obviously maybe talk about the rest of the bracket, Josh, a little bit more. We still got one more game going on now. Obviously, Endpoint Nexus is currently ongoing, but
lovely.
Again, I like a very competitive bracket. I want to talk about Spirit Academy a little bit here, Josh, because I'm not too sure how much you've watched of them, but I know
not much recently. I've seen the results, but I haven't watched them.
Listen, man, I said it to Brandon on a broadcast. I think artFrost is got to be one of my favorite AWPers in Counter-Strike right now. Like, actually, he's really, really exciting AWPer. Brandon just said he didn't like them today. That's probably because they went to 3 maps and Brandon wanted a quick exit, but. No, I think they're a really exciting team. They're very, very young as well. They're playing with their coach, and they're currently like 30 or like 41st in the world, something like that. Like they're actually playing
Still pretty good then
with their coach, which is crazy to me. Yeah, these guys are pretty exciting. I guess a question to you guys is: have you played much of Spirit Academy, or have you watched them, or?
Yeah, we've played them.
We've played Spirit Academy a few times in some scrims. I'd say we were one of the first people to like get a taste for just how good they were. We played them early on, like was 6-7 months ago now, Tom. What was it? But back when replay was still a thing, and we played them on Nuke, and like, not to be terribly offensive to any of the players on Spirit Academy, they're all very good players. If any of them sees this clip or whatever, but probably their weakest player, Baz, just dropped 30 on us with, it seemed like 25 1-digs. And we were like, what the fuck is going on here? Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is crazy. And then obviously you see artFrost, Donk, just unbelievable. And then you've got their IGL, the veterans, Sotfik, I'm not sure how you say his name, but it's just a very good roster in general, and lots of young talent that are destined for greatness later on in their careers. I mean, artFrost is, like you said, Ryan, probably easily one of the most bright stars, up and coming oppers in the world. Never mind Europe or young or just in the world. It's like we want to see more tier 1 games. Like he played Havu today. Havu nearly come back on Inferno. Inferno is not an oppers map, so to speak. So maybe he didn't have a great game in that game, but you know, that guy's incredible. And then obviously Donk is doing crazy stats on the rifle for them. So I would be very surprised to see these guys not break into tier 1. Like a couple of these guys in the next 6 months to a year, there's something special going on at the Spirit Academy team.
Yeah, I think I last casted them, Ryan, when it was like 6 months ago in WePlay. And Donk and artFrost were like the go-to. Even Sofix, man, he's played at 3-4 majors. Like, yes, he might be coaching, but he was on a Sparta with Dima and Dexter and all that before they went over to Spirit, and they were still doing top 30 or so on HLTV. So even if he's standing in, even for a bit, like he's going to help them out in a coaching role or being a 5th player. Do you want to touch on the LDLC result? Because that was quite one-sided by you guys. We're seeing more from LDLC. Obviously, I guess there's a little bit more of a highlight for them with like the RMR and Blast and everything, and the fact that it's like a French team that everyone sort of expected going into the RMR. Heat was going to do quite well. Falcons are going to do quite well. LDLC, but I don't know. What do you think about them at the moment?
I thought it was going to be more competitive than it was. Like, don't know. You watch, they are individually really good, but I don't know. Against them on the server, it didn't feel like they had too much of an edge on us, and like skill wise or calling wise, I'm not sure. They have some like mixed results, I would say, as well. You know, like they beat 500 but lose the endpoint. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe it's consistency problems. I'm not sure. I mean, even on Vertigo, Animic was rifling, and then he was open on
B.
Yeah, he was open on B, and then on Overpass he was like their lurk T side, and then and then Afro was open. It was just really mixed. Like, what's going on?
That was a really strange series. We went into that. We were actually, if I remember correctly, quite happy drawing them because yes, they've had some good results. It's like Tom said, there's weird ones in there, like really strange. And then when we got into the server against them, it was even weirder. It was like Tom said, there was really, really strange stuff going on, and we were just able to sort of get through it. It wasn't really a problem for us. Sometimes in the past when we play against teams around this level and they do weird stuff, and they're playing strange, it really knocks us off our game, and it sort of can skew the map and the series out of our control. But in this series, it wasn't like that at all. It was like the opposite. We were just in total control, and we were sort of bemused, to be perfectly honest, especially when we won. It was a great result. We were very happy, but at the same time, we were like, not sure.
I'll tell you a really funny story. What happened during that game was one of their players is called Gravity or something, and he disconnected from the server, and one of their players says Gravity is gone. And Extinct didn't know that one of their players was called Gravity, so he thought the Gravity in France was gone.
I just thought, like, all the peripherals sort of come off the desk. Someone's got 0G in the room right now.
Well,
That's why.
This is what we're playing with. This is what we're attending the RMR.
It's true, man. It
Gravity
sounds
gone
ridiculous
for
and made up,
Copenhagen.
but it's 100% true.
Yeah.
There's
See that being the
recording
case
to
as well.
back it up.
AGO, Ryan, going 2-0. If you actually look at the lineup, you kind of think, oh, okay, it's going to be Furlan and like Snatch and all that. And it's actually Los Cuguitos. So the team that kept upsetting everyone in the open quals and the team that's been working quite hard behind the scenes, they've gone from orgless to joining one of the biggest orgs in Poland. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they do under AGO now, because they probably need that support, because I think Los Cuguitos has been going for quite some time, actually, without an org.
Who was the player? Who was the fifth before Azran joined? Because Azran was on like Thunderflash or Thunder or something like that. They had an Opera, right? And then they replaced him with Azran. Do you remember, Tom? Who was the Opera they used to have?
Marcos.
Marcos. Who's playing for? Who's he playing for now?
Brugge.
Bruges. That's right, because Richie's gone and they had to replace him. I would say they're a weaker team.
Okay.
I think when they had Marcos, they were just incredible, like under Los Cuguitos, and I think it's actually to their credit that they have an organization now, because when they were Los Cuguitos, they sort of blowing teams away, playing a really unbelievable style. Like we played against them a couple of times, and like I was saying, when we played against teams that play strange or sort of weird, it sort of takes us out of our element, and they were one of the teams that consistently did that against us. So. Yeah, no, I think they're a good team. I think they've struggled a little bit since Azran's joined the team. That's not Azran's fault. They lost an Opera. They've had to move things around. So, but they're gonna find their feet and be very good again, because Azran's a top rifler as well in his just own regard. So, yeah, no, I think they're a good team.
There you go.
Okay.
I was gonna say Los Cuguitos have been around since the Rio qualies, right? Like they were playing against Astralis.
I think even before that, mate.
Yeah. No,
probably.
I'm just like in my mind, that's probably like one of the most notable
Well, that was the
events.
big one, wasn't it? That was the most known, I think. One at the time was like, shit, they've beaten Astralis, and Astralis aren't going to qual to the RMR.
Yeah. There you go. Anything else you want to chat about here on West Europe, or?
Are you guys confident you're making playoffs?
It's a pretty hard Swiss group, We'd be very happy to make playoffs. Well, we don't even know who our mid match is against yet. But the prospective opponents, there's some tough games in there. Like Havu, that would be tough. I feel like. Obviously, we're waiting on Endpoint Nexus. I'm not sure what's going on in that game. I haven't a clue actually. We don't play LDLC because we've already played them. So Young Ninjas, that would be tricky, undefined. That could
I
be a
think I would
tricky
like to
game.
play Endpoint. This roster of Endpoint, I'm not sure. Sometimes they look really good, sometimes they look really bad. I think I would like to play them out of all the teams there.
They're currently 13-10 up on the first map of Overpass. That's my update for you. So there you go. We'll keep an eye on that when that comes in. If it does during the stream, I'll let you know. Yeah, I don't think there's Josh. Anything else you want to touch on in here?
No, not really. Maybe we'll have a look at the playoffs later on when it closes out in the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. Advanced ESEA, our favourites, our favourite league, of course. It is the one that you go to. What MDL Premier now called like Challenger League, right? Season 44. It's been going on. It has been. Advanced so far. How did you guys do in Advanced? You did pretty well, right? I think you came like what top 3, top 4?
Fourth.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good season. We started off. Was it like 3 and I can't even remember now, but we lost like 2 games in the first 4 or 5 games. I think one of them was Arctic Raptors, which sort of weirdly helped us going into the season. And then after our last loss, the third loss, I think we just won out. Something happened. We were just playing very good, and our level of opponent wasn't the top sort of echelon in Advanced. So I would say our regular season run wasn't like a murderer's run. If you look at our past seasons where we haven't got playoffs, just look at the teams we've had to play. It's an absolute murderer's run of a season, and like a couple of the times we just survived in Advance with like maybe 1 or 2 more wins than you needed, and just missing out on playoffs. But this time it wasn't such a brutal regular season. So we've finished favourably. And then you go into playoffs, which we didn't really expect after qualifying for the RMR, because before we qualified for the RMR, ESEA wasn't going great. We'd had accumulated 3 losses, maybe 5 wins. We hadn't drawn the rest of our games, so we didn't know what was going to happen, like regarding who our opponents were going to be. So, and then during that period, RMR happens. We qualify. So ESEA sort of goes onto the shelf as if, like, don't really give a shit. And then we just win every game. So we finished really high, really good seed. So it's a bonus. Win our first game against Coalesce, was it?
Yeah, you played Coalesce, went 2-1 there.
Yeah, we win 2-1, sorry. It was a very close series. And then we played X-Rapid Ninjas, now Domination, the Hungarian professional footballer Dominik Szoboszlai's team. I found out the other day.
Wait, actually, they're not like an unorged name?
No, that's Dominik.
Yeah.
That's Dominik Szoboszlai. I think he plays for Leipzig. That's his team.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I maybe one of the Hungarian players, because it's the same nationality. Maybe one of them knows him, or they caught his eye, and I was just like, "Do you want to sort us out?" And they were like, "Yep." So maybe Conor McGregor can get in touch with Viperio or something like that. There, do you know what I mean? But no, that was a really, they sort of caught us cold, and maybe that's too much of an excuse, but they played really well in that game. Really good, like shooting very well. Almost everything called from spawn felt like the right thing that they did, and we did the wrong thing. So it was a hard game. It was really disappointing. We came out of it sort of shell shocked, like what just happened. Like we weren't expecting to get smashed. So it was a bit jarring for us, but we took it and we moved. You've considering the fact that we weren't looking for playoffs after the RMR. So we sort of went, well, it's a bonus. It's disappointing to lose, but you can still learn from it. And we did review it, and we've taken things on board. We did this wrong, we did that wrong, we should have done this, should have done that. And obviously we probably could have done a little bit better preparation. We weren't shooting as good as we could have done, for example. They were doing very well in that regard. So it was a tough game, and they're a very good team. Their HLTV ranking is very false. Like if they play as good against us as they did, if they play as good against us against Spirit Academy, I give them a real chance. As fun as that sounds, considering how much praise we just heaped on them earlier. Watching Spirit play Havu, I actually expected a 2-0 for Spirit Academy. And Havu were this close to just stealing it back on Inferno today, which really surprised me. So I think they look a little bit mortal in the sort of pressure best of threes, and if the Domination team can play well, they could win there, I think.
Just to give some insight. Oh, go on, Tom.
Sinners are already out.
That's right, yeah. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know. I just looked up there now.
Yeah, they had Partizan. It's a tough game. That's the thing with ESEA playoffs. There's murderers teams in there, so it's the team like Sinners are going to draw Partizan. Emmy, Collins, those guys are really good. So that was a tough game for them. That's a coin toss game, that in my opinion.
Obviously,
go on, Ryan.
I was just going to say you got Big Academy next, but 1 out of 2 BO3s. So obviously, if you lose this one, you got to play another in your 9th, 10th decider. But I'm pretty sure if you guys win the next game, you're in relegation now.
Oh, I didn't know this. Wait, so if we beat Big Academy, we're in relegations?
I'm pretty certain, yeah. Doing the maths.
But it just shows you like how sort of back burner ESEA Advanced has been for us during the bit of the boot camp. It's a bit of a shame to say, considering ECL is quite a prize, but maybe we should be paying more attention to it. But yeah, no, Big Academy. They beat Eternal Fire Academy today. They were very gracious enough to move the game to the 14th, even though the default date is on the 13th. We can't play on the 13th. We're traveling back to the UK and Ireland, so I was very grateful for Big for that. Yeah, no, that's going to be a good game. I can't wait to go home and prepare for it.
Yeah, just to give some insight for the guys at home about the Hungarian team. That's like the old BP5, sort of that kind of core of players. So you've got like Aaron, Color, and Petito, which are like the known three. So they've been going for a seriously long time in and out of their careers, and then you got a couple of newer guys. But yeah, they were the Rapid Ninjas. Did you say that they were playing?
Their Rapid Ninjas was their most recent organization. Now it's Domination, it's Dominic Sabozlai's team, but no, they're clear, like that's why I'm saying their HLTV ranking is it's false. They're much higher rated team in my opinion. I would put them right up there, like 50-ish.
Okay.
If you wouldn't say, like, if you can't say Spirit Academy, who's the second place team in Advanced that gets the direct promotion?
Let me see the bracket. I'm not allowed to say Spirit Academy or Domination.
No.
Boston Crab, 00 Nation, and Iron Branch are the three other teams in the upper bracket.
It's a good question.
Partisan? I mean, even though they're lower bracket.
Partisan would be a good one. That's a good shout.
B8. I mean, they're at the boot camp as well. I think they went home recently, but yeah. So maybe B8.
They play each other in the lower bracket round 3 game, Partisan and B8.
That's going to be a banging game of CS.
That's a tough game. That's a tough game. Yeah, I mean, second, I'm not allowed to say Spirit Academy or Domination. I would say Boston Crab, just about. Because they have Alien, and I rate him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him get back to that form because I think he had hard done by right towards the end of a Tropic. Like we know that he's a seriously good AWPer.
I was just gonna say that game's live, by the way. The Boston Crab 00 Prospects game. Yeah. So Boston Crab took map 1 of Overpass 1917. They lost Anubis 16-7. They're now 9-6 down on. Well, now they're on T side, Vertigo. So
okay.
Close game for the decider at least. And as I said, I'm pretty certain the maths says like if they lose this game and then lose to Coalesce, they have to play in a 9th, 10th game to see if they stay in, or see if they get relegation.
Is that who Coalesce are waiting on?
Yeah,
Boston
Coalesce play the loser of Boston Crab 00 Nation.
That's tough. That's a tough game to play.
Yeah, that is a rough one. And then I'm pretty certain if it goes like in bracket order, they'll play if they lose that game, they'll play the loser of Insolo and BP5. So yeah, tough draws.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Prospects are currently favourites to win the best of 3, like if they do win it, like I don't see why they can't. They probably could win the whole thing, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this I know they could. Yeah, they're decent actually. I forgot about this team. They've got hype.
There you go. Josh, anything else?
Yeah, I might stream some Advance actually the next few days because I got some time off work. So.
Oh yeah, cheeky promo. Why don't you?
Yeah. Does Viperio have their own stream for your games in Advanced?
No, I think
several sheep. A guy from Denmark, I think, streams their game, or Netherlands.
And then Surfer will stream them whenever he's free as well.
Oh yeah, Jack. All right, I was gonna say I'll stream the next one, but if Jack's doing it, that's fine. Fair enough.
I have no idea if Jack's doing it. You might just send him a message.
Yeah, I'll send him a message. Yeah.
Don't steal my job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about it. You guys, you said you're playing Big Academy. What, 2 days from now?
Yeah, on
Tuesday,
the 14th. Yeah.
There you go. Go and give it a watch. I guess that's a big game. Big game.
Busy day for us on the 14th. We've got CCT West. No. Yeah, West, the mid-match is on that day as well. We don't know who we're playing yet. And then ESEA, and then in the morning we're playing Gank as well for EPL Division 2 or something like that. So
I just saw the announcement for that actually on Twitter.
Yeah, so that's going to be like 3 best of 3s in one day. So that'll be tough. It'll be a tough day.
Long day,
classic.
Long day. Yeah, that's the Skade-esque, isn't it? Like the Skade
that's
Dynamo EPIC.LAN, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, roster shuffle time, Josh, before we talk about RMRs and stuff like that. I guess we can, I think, touch on these a little bit, Josh, just because
we won't go into depth.
I'm aware of time and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
A few other ones. I do want to group them a little bit, sort of like the UK shuffle, and then we can talk EU shuffle. Obviously, a team that we were talking about in the beginning, the old Arctic Raptors scenario. They've brought in Awaken, who is the ex-OG Academy AWPer. They've also brought in Regan as well. Give us your thoughts about that, gents. I personally, I didn't know the direction they were going to take when they benched Whiffin. I just didn't know if they were going to keep the UK core. Obviously they do, but I just thought it would be a little stronger. But they go European. He obviously played at LAN. What are your thoughts on that?
Obviously the team gets relegated, so it's probably going to be weaker. But the roster changes aren't bad. Regan's a very talented player, in my opinion. With the right direction and coaching, I think he could be incredible. Especially if he has a good hard work ethic. I think he's good. Awaken, I don't know much about other than what you just said. It's always hard to replace an AWPer or even to just find a good one. Never mind, build a team around one. So I think that they'll probably come straight back up because I like some of the players on the team. I like Sodi, and I like Ducky, and I like Synergy. He's a good support player. They did pretty okay in their first season. Advance is hard. It's 6 wins. It's not easy to get to. As you've seen, 7 AM, multiple seasons in advanced, they couldn't get there either. So it's no disgrace. I think they'll come straight back up. I think their roster changes don't make the roster too weak, and I think the quality of opposition in main should be soft enough for them to come straight back up and as impressive style as they did the first time. So I'm pretty confident about that. Obviously they lose Sean Aatrox Green. That they'll not be happy about that. He was a shining light for them all season. Played very well for them on LAN. But Sean obviously decided he wanted to go and play at a different team, and he joined Royals, which I think is a good move. I think that team is a very good team, and I'm happy to see that he's still playing and willing to push himself, because we need more Irish excellence. That's why.
Yeah, I think the only other UK news as well is obviously iFan coming through for Zulu out on Dripmen as well, and then that kind of wraps things up nicely there. Is there more?
There was a pretty roster change on our side too, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, we were going to talk about that later.
About
we can talk
RMR,
about it now if you want.
Okay, fair enough.
If you want to get into it now, we can do.
No, please. You're the host. Don't let me tell you what to do. Sorry, I just
we
thought
can step right over that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. European route, I guess. I want to talk about, obviously we were chatting with your matchup in advance with Big Academy. Obviously hyped, the AWPer just got the promotion over Searson. Don't quite know the whole situation with Searson, if he's looking for another team or whatever, but he's kind of just sat on the bench now, if I'm not mistaken, waiting for something to happen. They've obviously brought up their academy player. I've got nothing but good things to say about Hyped. I think he's a very, very talented player. I think it's another really good AWPer. So I don't see it as a bad move for Big, and I feel like, especially what we've been saying about them sort of online, I do believe maybe they were looking into a change, because I remember at one point everyone was like pestering Big about the whole Tizian situation, or Tabson situation, sorry, saying oh yeah, Tabson finds a new team, or he needs to get out or whatever.
Yep.
So I think it's about time that we see Big have a change, because I know we kind of memed them the whole of last year for not being able to put up a good 5, or their straight 5, but I think any combination of players they put together, they kind of struggle to do well with. So making that change, hoping things become a little more consistent. As I said, Hype's very talented, so all the best to him. I hope he does amazingly there.
Yeah, it was a good move.
Pickup. That's great. I think it shows optimism and a freshness. You have to give Tabson a lot of credit, because he's certainly good enough to go and play in a different team, and I'm sure there's plenty of tier 1 teams at certain points in their history that would have loved to have Tabson on their team. But obviously you have to look at it and go, well, why hasn't that happened? I know, and it must be because Tabson's deciding, I'm staying here, I'm going to build a German team, I don't care if I win or whatever, that's what I want to do. So I have a lot of credit going his way and a lot of praise and admiration. And I think the roster change is a good one. I think Searson's a good player, but it's like you said, I think they needed to change something. And I think Hyped is very good, and I think it's a positive move. And I think Big are going to be very, very good for it.
Want to touch on the move then, Ryan, with what obviously has to come through from the academy. If you lose an AWP, you got to game one. They got Sensei that played out with Sangal. I think he went through military service for a little bit, and then that's why he got benched on the main Sangal team, and then they ended up making Fuzi their main AWPer out there. So just some further changes. Even Academy, Slend finally gets a change. I mean, I think we saw for the last, I don't know, 4 months or so, Ryan. Like, Mouse NXT were just constantly going through different AWPers. You had Zykes out there from 7 a.m. for a little bit. And then they moved just player after player after player. And then finally, it seems like they've actually got one. You mentioned Havu, Kieran, as being like a strong team. How do you look at that, though? Because obviously towards the end of last year, they were winning events. They were making top 4 placements. And then all of a sudden, we spoke about it on the last show, Ryan, you start bringing Otto and Banjo on trial, and now Dotto's like, oh, you know what, I don't fancy like being on this team anymore, and he just benches himself. Like, how is there so many roster changes from Harbu when they did so well?
Obviously, something horrible has happened there behind the scenes. Maybe it's a contract thing, maybe it's like an interpersonal thing. You'll never know until way down the line, whenever that it's no longer like a brand risk or something like that, or NDAs, or whoever knows.
I think it's still good signs that they nearly beat the Spirit Academy though.
Yeah.
So I think they're in the right direction. That's
what I was saying. I expected, because of what you were saying, Spirit Academy to like comfortably 2-0 them, and then I was watching the game and I was very impressed. Havu clearly not finished, even despite the turbulence. I think they'll be back. To be perfectly honest, I don't think they have bad players on the team at all, and it's maybe disappointing for them to be there and then to come down here because of some crazy stuff that we don't know about. But I don't think from the outside looking in we can be too critical because we don't really know.
Okay. Well, they were on a 7-game winning streak that they hadn't lost a game since Airax has been like standing in the IGL. So we'll see if their form only continues up. You mentioned Sinners. Altex was promoted from their academy team. Tom, I think you said you weren't like that keen on their new 5th. Was there something on him, or like just the system of the team more so than the individual?
No, it's not so much on I think he wasn't even their best player in their academy team, by the way. If I checked, I checked in preparation for Sinners. I was looking at like who their 5th was. So it might have been like a role thing, because Zero was like a kind of role player type of thing that he just added kind of fit this position, like Con and Overpasser, for example.
That can be the case, can't it? Sometimes when like you're looking for a new player, you kind of want the right role. You don't want to change the team. So you need to get a certain player. You can't just go get that guy because he plays all these spots and he doesn't, So I think Tom's right there. I think that's probably.
I think he's in a very difficult position to try and to like step up to like Zero, because like Zero, I've personally watched a lot of Zero demos. Like the way he aims is just unbelievable.
Yeah, Zero's a good player.
So he has to step up huge. Well, time will see. It kind of tells like how good he is, but I think he needs time.
Okay. EPIC.LAN, Ryan, a team that we're quite familiar with. They brought in Sensei, Jackie, and Psycho, and then about a few months later, the exact same 3 that come in go out. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the case of like one of them wants to get kicked, and then Sensei, I don't want to go if Jackie goes, and then Psycho turns around and says, if they're going, I'm going too. But that's just wild that you bring in a core 3 and then the exact same core 3 go out not that long after they went in.
Well, it probably should keep in mind that those players are Ukrainian, and there's a massive conflict going on over there.
That's
so whoever knows why that's going on, do you know what I mean?
I guess we can't think about it like that.
Hopefully everyone's okay, to be perfectly honest, and nothing mentally awful has happened there. So that's what I think about that team. I mean, JK, we know JK. We played against his team, so obviously, like, they're very good. Whenever that 5's able to play together, or whatever version of JK's teams, we've always had trouble, or had competitive games. So I just hope that they're doing okay, because I have a lot of respect for those guys.
Yeah, no, it is a good point. So we'll see what happens with those guys. If they just go, I mean, even bait, like maybe depending on how their results go, is there some changes to happen? Endpoint signing Fessor. You guys got much thoughts on that one?
If we speak, we're in big trouble.
If we speak, we're in big trouble. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if I'm going to speak for you, but I think
no comment.
I think honestly, it's one of the most interesting pickups, to put it politely. Like, I can understand the history of wanting to pick up young players. Like, that's been the whole, like, sort of the scheme for Endpoint is, like, you know, we take, like, young FPL, like, up-and-coming players and hope they do well and whatnot. For me personally, I don't think Fesser's, like, that good. I don't think he's on the same level as you know, the previous people that they've picked up. So I don't know, man. I mean, I hope it works, because I'd love to see a more competitive Tier 2 space, but at the same time, for me, Fesser is not, you know, he's, like, I genuinely don't see him being a Nertz or a Flames, or a Mezzi,
Yeah.
you know, like, the previous pieces that, like, you know, you're trying to build up. Maybe the thought is now, you know, you've made shit tons of money because you've just sold Nertz off to Ents and Flames is at OG, and obviously Mezzi's off at Fnatic, and now maybe you're trying to, like, settle and build a Tier 2 team. Like, I don't know the mindset for Endpoint now, whether it's to keep, you know, building players or actually trying to make a team now. But for me personally, I don't rate Fessel that highly.
I think if you look at it from the lens of we need to replace Nertz, it's like you said, it's maybe not the most impressive pickup. But if you look at it through a different lens, like what might be the case in the future, without saying too much, then it might not be such an awful pickup.
Maybe one that we touch on in a few months' time, like see how the results go and get a bit more of a gist. Sprout, Ryan, a team that struggled, I think, over the course of this year.
Yeah.
They've brought Xiphon back, even after he's gone.
Yeah.
Maze lasted 2 best of ones, trialing as an IGL. And they've brought in Azza. Now, I'm very keen on this, but I think a lot of people look at that and think, you know, he's been out of the game for quite some time. So I think it will take quite a few events and quite a few grinding Tier 2 cups to sort of get them back to that level. Because again, I don't think he's like even played a HLTV official for like 18 months before he's come back here on Sprout.
I think it's very early, to tell what's going to happen with that team.
Yeah.
It's so early. I mean, they lost into the breach. I think they're kind of losing left, right, and center. Are they not?
Wasn't their man ill as well? Lance, wasn't he like really badly ill? Was it for pneummonia or some shit?
Oh yeah, he got pneumonia, didn't
Oh
he?
yeah.
Really? So they've got a roster change, a couple of roster changes. Their best player probably shouldn't be playing and should be in hospital on antibiotics, as far as I'm aware. So, you know, the recent results are going to be a bit up and down and maybe disappointing, but you know, there's a good core there. So I will see what happens. Hopefully, as your pick for your country's sake, Josh, do Australia proud, you know.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Yeah.
Fingers and toes crossed, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all of it, to be honest, Ryan. We'll have some more coming up soon.
Nice. Let's do. Josh, do you want to do the Dream Squad then RMR? Because I guess
let's do that. I want to get. I've been hungry to hear this.
Okay, so we're gonna follow on from what we did last episode, and that is like to kind of like barrel off the start of this whole like QnA segment while we talk through RMRs. It's like the interactive bit where we get to hear the hot takes of the Viperio lads, and I hope that they are absolutely spicy. We're going to start off by, basically, you guys are going to make a dream team. I guess, biscu, maybe for you it's a little bit different, whether you're going to put yourself in the team or not, I don't know. But that's what we're here to find out. We're going to make you make a dream team. So, you plus 4 or 5 players, it's your dream Tier 2 team. You tell us where you start, you pick the 5, we'll put it together, and it will probably go out on Twitter for us to love or to shame.
Well, am I going first?
If you want to go first, that's
Okay.
You've just nominated yourself, so hit me. Where are we starting out?
I mean, I've got to go to Gamer Legion first. I have to give them so much praise in the stream so far. So I'm going to need... I'm not sure if he's actually... If I give myself away here, I'm not actually sure if he's calling for the team at the moment, but I know that he can. I'm going to take Sui or Camille, as I know him. I haven't enough good words to say about this guy. This guy is my hero. What a player.
Yeah,
and a nice guy as well. And then I'm also going to take IM as well. I'm going to have IM on the team.
Okay, let's
so
get
two Gamer Legion back-to-back players.
If I can have Ash as coach, I will as well, because you know what I mean. But if we're not, maybe that's too many people. But I know we'll see. So I'm going for like a Gamer Legion core because that's like you said, they're a very impressive team. Josh earlier, I agree. I think they're a very good team. So I'll have those two, please. And then we're gonna go to Saw. I'm gonna have a Portuguese. I'm gonna have Ujerks. This guy.
Really?
Yes, I really like this player. I think this guy's a good rifle.
Okay.
I rate him highly, and actually I think he's probably underrated. To be perfectly honest, I'll have him in the team as well. And then I need an opper. I'll take Bad News Eagles opper. I'll take GXX.
All right.
I like him a lot as well. I think there's a couple of oppers there in the sort of knocking around in the tier 2 scene that you could take. I like Bad News Eagles. I like the story. I like the camaraderie that those guys have, and I think GXX is a good player in that roster, so I'll have him. And then rounding the roster out, I'll have an endpoint alumni. I'll have Boros from Monty. So that's my team. That's my dream tier 2 team.
You've got a couple of decent hard-hitting riflers there in IM and Boris.
Yeah. I like, don't count Ajarx out as well. You know, go have a look at his HLTV. He plays very well for Saw. Very, very well.
Okay.
Nice.
People don't like my team. I'm sorry. Tom's is better. The players in Tom's team, I'd have 2 of them like that. Oh, you got him as well.
My team is just stacked. My team is like everyone wants to see this team play. Fuck, who cares?
Right, hit me. Where are we starting, artist? Where are we starting?
Right. So first off, Donk, 16-year-old, unbelievable talent. He's just going to be the carry of the team.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to be the first carry of the team. Okay, just look at the guy's stats. Unbelievable. I mean, watch him play. 16. Yeah, he's the next sample. Okay, that's that guy. Okay. The next guy, teammate, artFrost is opper. Okay. Now he's the primary opper because we're going to have 2 oppers in this lineup. We're going to be really heavy meta of double opping. Okay, so it's going to have artFrost as the primary op because he's probably not the next sample, but the sample after that. Okay, after Donk. Okay, so then personally Joel, just because he is the farm of tier 2 Counter-Strike. I mean, I don't know, the guys can't touch him. Unbelievable. Best Swedish player to ever grace the game. He should be in, I don't know, the king of ninjas and pajamas. I'm not sure. Like, he should be the head of Swedish Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Then we're going with the secondary opper, Oscar. Okay, so they could create a new meta of double op and T side. Could be wild, be crazy. You know, put one op outside on Nuke, put one op towards ramp. Being really crazy. Do you know what I mean? But they both could do it. Do you know what I mean? They have the ability. Do you know what I mean? They've got young, they've got old, they've got experience, they've got they want to prove themselves, but then they don't. They've been at Mouse, they've been at a major. Who knows? Like, it's just all so exciting. Okay. And then the last player of 100%, we have to go with Ralm. He is the stand-in for every single team ever that's played tier 2. Like, it's 100% Ralm and Joel. Do you mean together they're the main carries of the team, but then not. And it's like, you know, like Realm would sometimes buy the op just randomly, and it's just like it's working, and like he doesn't drop the op to Oscar or artFrost. It's just crazy. And it's like, whoa! Now they have 3 ops T side, and it's like, whoa! And then Joel's an up, and then they run up A long. It's just going to be a roster everyone wants to see. This could be a tier 1 team.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
But part of the rules here was I wasn't allowed any of the players he took. So if I was, I probably built the same roster. I believe in that 100%. You know, you can't beat it, that team.
There's no roster, that can beat that roster. That is the best. No, that is the best. That's the number 1. That's it.
Fair enough. If there's,
I like the Joel pick. The Joel pick, I'm getting on board with on that team.
If there's any organization out there that has enough money to make this happen, that would
make it happen.
Yeah. Let's see it. That's 2 minutes of thinking.
Yeah.
If anybody can take Rallen out of ITB, that would be fantastic. Honestly, 9. This guy, have you seen him? He's unreal. Come on, do you know what I mean? Get him out of that team. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
There you go. All right.
Come and pick him up. He's so good.
There you go. That's that. Shuey, Emma, Ujerx, GXX, Boros, and then Donk, artFrost, Joel, Oscar, Rallen. Nice to see that we have like European squads as well, Josh. This episode, you know, the Swedish ones
these are
going
to bang against the Swedish teams we had last episode.
Mate,
honestly,
these were farm. You know, like yeah. I don't know structurally about your team here, artist, but I will give it. I will say like there are some that it's all heavy hitters, right? Like I'm a little unsure about Oscar compared to the rest, but if you're a believer, I'm a believer. I'll give you that at least.
Never died Oscar.
There you go. There you go. Josh, I think it's time to talk RMRs, right? We can start by basically we did this last RMR, worked quite nicely. We have a little tier list to give you. all 16 teams from RMR A are on the list. Your job, basically, to group them. 4 categories: should, could, unlikely, no chance of them getting out of the RMR. I've just sent it in the Twitch chat for everyone at home if you want to jump in and have a go as well. But let's kick things straight off. Joint effort, gents. So you know, if one thinks one and another thinks another, there will be debate until we get one answer. Best till last. We can start with one win, and it goes alphabetically.
One win, yeah. We'll start with one win.
Left to right. Why not?
I would say it's a pretty hard bracket. I mean, how many teams qualify again? Is it 6, 8? Right.
I think it's 8, right?
Yeah, 8 or so.
Is it not 9?
Oh, is there a last chance?
I think it's 9 for Group A.
I'm just double checking now.
Oh, there is 9. You're right, because outsiders are in the group.
Yeah.
You're right about that. So that sort of changes it. I would say one winner unlikely. I think they could go through, but like there's teams ahead of them that would put for could more than them. So I would probably say that they're like farther left on the unlikely category. But maybe they'll move as you put more teams in. But that's just my initial reaction.
Because that's obviously a fresh new build, isn't it, Ryan? We've obviously had like Forrestar, Boomich, and Nickelback join up with Travis and Deco. I mean, Deco on LAN, I'm going to be keen to see what he's going to be like again.
I don't know. It's a weird roster. I don't know. We played them. We weren't too impressed by them. And then like you kind of look at like the teams that are beside them. You have FaZe and Navi. I think it is unlikely that they qualify, but I don't know. Like, there's just more consistent teams there on that list, and like this is like if you compare that roster to any other roster, every other roster has been together for such long time, and I think to get past an RMR, it's experience. I mean, I know these guys have a wealth of experience individually, but like as a team against other teams, I don't think it'd be very unlikely that they qualify.
I tend to agree.
Fair enough.
Cool. Got them sorted then.
Apex, where are we putting them?
Yeah, just get past that one. No chance. Next.
All right. Cool. Short and sweet. Eyes, do we agree?
They could.
No, they
could. I mean, didn't he say they're the best team in the closed qualifier? What did he say? Yeah, he said something.
Did Sticko say that?
Yeah, he said. Yeah, he says he's better than Game Religion.
Yeah, well, that's obviously wrong, isn't it? So.
No, actually, unlikely. I think it's better.
Okay, we'll put them in unlikely. Okay.
Above or below one win?
Oh, below. One win. I think one win. Like, as wild as it might sound, I think there's a better chance. To be perfectly honest,
Fair enough.
Just Apex, like I don't know. I'm not as impressed with them as like maybe some people are or whatever. I just don't think they're that good. I don't like the roster either. I don't think it's a good 5.
Fair enough. We'll go with the fish hook next. Bait. What are we saying?
Is that what it is? Is fish hook? I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I can see it now that you say that. There you go. Could. Maybe unlikely again. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting everybody in unlikely here. I don't know. Maybe I should stop answering. Tom say something.
I think there's 4 teams that are very just no chance. But like I think that's one of the teams.
They came very close to qualifying to the major last time, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's such a hard group. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I mean, look at the group. There's killers in this group. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some killers in this group. Some of the best teams in the world are in this group. Like, so I mean, you couldn't. Are they better than one win in Apex? Probably on their day, yeah, maybe. Apex haven't been showing very good side of themselves. One win, like you said, they're fresh, so unlikely. I'd put Bait just ahead of them, maybe in Cood, and maybe towards the end of Cood, like on the right-hand side, potentially.
They went 2 and 3 at the last RMR, beating Ecstatic and Fnatic in best of 1s, but not quite pulling ahead in the best of 3s.
Yeah, I mean, the best of 3s against some of the best teams in the world aren't easy. So, I mean, they have the advantage of having played in one before, I would say that puts them in good stead going forward. So and they nearly did. A 2 and 3 is a good team. So, Good.
Do
you not agree, Tom? Unlikely or no chance?
Someone's eating lemons in the top right.
I don't know. I mean, like, are there worse teams in the bracket there than Bait? Like, how many more teams are worse than them there?
I don't know. I don't think that, like, the way, like, we've played against them, like, they're not like an upset team. Do you,
No.
you know what I mean? They don't feel like they play like an upset team. You know, where, like, I don't know, if you put them against like FaZe or Fnatic. Who did they play last time? A Static. So that would
they
have
beat
been
Ecstatic and Fnatic.
yeah, but like you know, they're not going to beat this Fnatic. Do you know what I mean? This Fnatic's probably just going to slap them. To be honest, I don't know. I don't. I think it's very unlikely. To be honest, I don't know. The group's too stacked. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not too. I put them on the right hand side of Could, so like that would probably mean they're more likely than one win. So maybe put them in unlikely, just in front of one win. They're a bit better than one win, Tom. Would you say?
Yeah, about the same level.
About the same level, yeah. So maybe just ahead of one win there.
There you go. All right, Bad News Eagles. What are we saying, gents?
Good. Yeah.
Easy.
Nice.
100%.
Short and sweet.
They always have good runs in majors.
They're a very good team.
Yeah.
No arguments there. Falcons, the Frenchies.
I actually think should as well.
You think should?
Yep.
For Falcons?
Yep. I bet you money that they'll qualify. The Paris major French players. Don't know. It just seems fitting.
I didn't consider that.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It just all seems, you know, they bring back QnA.
QnA's
return. It just seems all like it's all falling into place for them. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm gonna say should, but maybe you would say could.
I would put them ahead of the three teams we have in unlikely. So I would have them, and I think they're a little bit worse than Bad News Eagles at the minute. So I would put them there. But it's like there is a bit of a destiny to it, isn't there? With it being in Paris and QnA's return and King of France, or one of the kings.
I mean, 9 teams qualify. You mean some teams have to?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah,
you know, it's
so
9 teams out of
Falcons,
6. Yeah, so like
yeah, could 100%, or it should even maybe.
Should.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose there are 9 teams that are going to qualify, right? I mean, there's some good teams in here. You know what I mean? I mean, we're definitely qualifying, like me and us on our ITB. So, just, I would put them in could personally.
All right. What
Let's
are we
go
saying
could,
then?
yeah.
Top of could or below
Yeah.
B&E?
Below, my opinion. Taking the destiny factor out of it and just looking at them purely, like if they were Spanish, for example, all of them, they would be good in my opinion. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like there's going to be some quick answers, but more about ordering. Next, we've got FaZe.
yeah,
Should.
that goes top should so far.
Cool. Fnatic.
Should
Above or below FaZe?
Below.
Cool. Gamer Legion.
Should again.
Should as well, yeah.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I had a Fnatic. I've writ them.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice take.
Oh, wrong place. Nice. Done. There you go. ITB.
I mean, if we're being realistic, they could, but like, I think it's like the UK teams are both unlikely or even no chance, maybe, to be perfectly honest. But like, that's what both teams are working for, right? They're working to be there, and you know, it's a chip in a chair. You know, you got to be in there to win it, and they're in there. So I think they could maybe if they have the miracle run, or they just all play very good. I like the team. I like the roster. They obviously beat us today. And they're not even at full strength yet. So, you know, they're taking good results against some teams there. So I would put them probably, without trying to be too harsh, in the unlikely category, maybe even towards no chance.
Yeah, I'll be harsh. I don't care. So like, I mean, comparing ITB to FaZe, you know, like Thomas is, you know, these guys are like, I mean, they're pretty like Thomas is just starting the IGL. They're all playing new positions. They've probably a lot to work out, and then compared to like every other team that's at the event, you know, who've got like everything, you know, sorted and like practiced, and I mean, just like every protocol, every strat book, everything. Do you mean there's just no chance, like absolutely none. But like, I mean, that's my head, but my heart, God, they're gonna go and win the major. Do you know what I mean? But like,
I agree.
I mean, like, yeah,
they have Bralin on the team after all, so it's easy for them.
and he wouldn't even care. You know, he'd won the major.
No, he really wouldn't. No.
Yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Like,
Whatever.
you go back to standing in for a few
Go
other
stand
teams.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe dabbles in Valorant for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Wins a major over there. Rocket League next. But yeah, like with my heart, yeah, they won the major. My head, no chance.
All
I
right,
tend to agree.
Mouse, the main team of Mouse.
I don't know. They're a weird team.
got-
I
Yeah.
didn't really
playoffs,
see
didn't
much
they,
from
in
them.
Say
Rio?
this one's weird because like they deserve top 8. Would never have put them top 8 in an RMR. Realistically, after the previous result, probably should be qualifying. But again, it's like
Yeah.
depends what
think
Mouse
it's
you get on the day.
I think it's towards the end of should, to be honest. I mean, like, I think the expectation on the team is that they should, like, in the team, you know, not necessarily on the outside looking in, but I think, like, the players there will be like, we should do it. Especially, like, they might think it's just the softer of the two groups. So I would put them in the end of should. But who knows? Could be a tricky one.
I think like them as players will expect, you know, to qualify,
Yeah,
and I
I
think them
agree.
as an organization should expect the players to qualify. So I think, you know, they probably have the expectation. So I would say should, not like, you know, I don't think they have to cause an upset to qualify, you know, because of like their last run. So I think they should. Yeah.
Below Fnatic, are we happy with the placement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Next up, Navi.
Yeah, I would just
Yeah.
right behind FaZe. Personally.
Oh no, I would say first. Oh yeah, 100%.
You think
Oh no, I
so?
see. Ooh, actually, MPL.
I think they're right behind FaZe.
Yeah. Yeah, behind FaZe.
But just that much, you know. So we'll have to obviously it's LAN. We're gonna find out, but yeah, it should. But just behind FaZe.
OG.
No, is OG not playing with Nico, or
They are. Well, I think
is that
it's-
confirmed?
It probably isn't yet. I still think it was Nico, but I don't think they've publicly said when Nexus is coming back.
I would assume he's coming back for the major, the biggest tournament. I don't know. Don't know. What like, are we running with Nexa or are we running with Nico here?
What's wrong
Because
with
I
that?
think it's
What's wrong with
different.
Nico? What happened? I don't know. Is there a
Nexa's
reason?
not AGL and Nico's came under AGL.
Oh right.
Let's take it with like recent form. Let's go Nico's OG.
I
Just
think
'cause we don't know.
Well, if it's Nico's OG, then they're like at the far left of could, but probably should. Like maybe even in front. If Nico's playing, probably in front of Mouse.
I've just had a look. It says we are pleased to announce that Nico is temporarily joining the starting lineup for the rest of the major circuit, starting with tomorrow's close qual. So that tells me that it'll be Nico playing at the RMR.
It's the Danish Nico. Well,
They're very talented players, like, but
I think
they could, yeah,
but... could, and they're maybe even behind BNE. Would you have BNE going?
I don't know.
Man, I don't know either. That's a tricky one for me. Like, let me see. Let me pull them up. I'm not too
You see
familiar.
OG, yeah, like maybe there's a chance of like, you know, 1-1 beating OG, you know, or you know, OG. Like even into the breach beating OG or Apex beating OG. Don't know. It's a weird roster. Like it's, don't know. It's hard to piss them. I think you probably say could. Do you know what I mean? Because like it's OG. They should make the major, but I think you'd have to put it as could. But like probably the very last could team.
Yeah, they went 3-1 at the last RMR, losing to Mouse, beating Illumina, beating Falcons, and then beating Outsiders in a best of 3.
Could.
Could, yeah.
Ahead of Falcons. Yeah.
Maybe even probably ahead of Falcons. Yeah, probably ahead of Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah. Put them second and could.
Yeah.
Done. OG, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think what's his Outsiders next?
Outsiders are next, yeah.
I mean, right. Number 1. To be honest, should
Number
away.
1?
No problem. Yeah.
Done.
And Matt, what do you think? Do you think FaZe are better, Tom? More chance. If it's a Resda paper, if anything, so I just think it's fine to put them there.
No,
yeah,
Kyron's not been playing too well.
Yeah, it is an interesting roster change right after winning the major. Obviously, like they feel like they're being proactive and that like they're actively improving their roster, even though they've just had their greatest result. So some people might go, "Oh, that's a bit crazy," but like if you're in the team and you know what it's like day to day, and you feel like that guy replaces that guy and he's better and he has more ceiling, then it's sort of a clear-cut decision. Despite what the results are saying, some people think that is a crazy way to look at it, but that's how professional teams in all aspects work. In football, in any sport, like if that guy in that role can be replaced by someone who's doing better, they're gonna get replaced, regardless of whether they won that or won this. So yeah, maybe their results haven't been good, but I would still put them in should, maybe behind FaZe then, like Tom says. Maybe even behind Na'Vi, who knows?
Man, to be honest, I'd put them behind Gamer Legion. I'd say Gamer Legion beat them.
Man, I think
I
Gamer Legion...
I don't know.
I think Gamer Legion are going to storm into Paris, by the way. I have total faith. So, like, I would put them ahead of Gamer Legion just because they've got more experience, but that's just my opinion.
Happy there,
I would put them third. Where have you got them?
I've got them third right now. FaZe,
Yeah,
Na'Vi,
yeah,
Outsiders,
third,
Gamer Legion.
That's fine. That's fair. There's no huge argument there. Like,
all right, Saw next.
That's a weird one. I think unlikely, to be honest, and probably like at the top of unlikely.
Just saying in front of bait.
Yeah, but maybe even at the end of could.
How many times have these guys fielded on RMR?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Remember the last time they were against Jane?
Yeah,
got
it was
no
like
scoped.
Yeah, that one on Inferno, right?
Yeah,
on
Inferno.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
Don't know. It could be the time, I don't know.
I mean, even in the closed qualifier, they had a very hard time. They had to go through the last chance. They choked versus Astralis. They were playing so well, and then lost on Inferno. I can't remember the last map. And then obviously they played us. Everyone's thinking they're going to smash us, and they lose 2-0. They did a weird veto, really weird veto. I don't know. Maybe something's going on with the Portuguese roster there. Maybe they have a problem in the high pressure situations. And they sort of can't get past that last barrier. So maybe at the end of could for me, I think they'll probably repeat history unless they can sort of punch through it and show everyone actually we're major champions. They're not major champions, but we can go to Paris and we can compete.
All right, happy with that then. End of could, so it's BME, OG, Falcons, then Saw.
What do you think, Tom? Like, do you think like the teams in unlikely are like a little bit better that we've got in there, like, or might even have a little bit more of a chance?
Yeah, I see. Like, I think like Apex probably have a better chance than Saw. No,
I think I don't know. I just don't think that the Apex roster makes sense. Like, I don't mean to be horrible. Like, I just don't see this being a roster in 6 months. It's like it's just a weird team. So like I would put like whereas I can't see Saul being a roster in 6 months. So I sort of maybe I'm giving them unfair credit, but like maybe they should be in unlikely and like behind one win, maybe. I don't know. It's a tricky one. I don't think they're going to qualify, to be perfectly honest. So I put them in unlikely.
Maybe unlikely then.
What do you think?
Yeah, unlikely. Yeah,
unlikely. I think that's fair.
Are we going under 1 win or above 1 win?
I don't know.
Under 1 win. Under one. I don't know, man. The teams are like
weird.
Yeah, man.
I would put them maybe the best team in unlikely there. That would maybe one on in unlikely, to be fair to them. Like, I mean, how many teams have we got qualifying so far? Should and could 9 already.
You've got your 9 already, yeah.
We're already there. I mean, so yeah, I put them in unlikely then, for fuck's sake. So we can't be putting everyone through to Paris.
All right, then Sprout, our penultimate team.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. We'll go with no chance for that.
All right, nice. And then you guys.
Well, where do we begin?
I mean, listen, I think if we're being logical, we don't have any chance, right? I think everybody sees that as the case. Like the 2 UK teams, it's the first time 2 UK teams have ever been to an RMR. I don't feel like there's any expectation from the scene that they will or should. And I think that's to both teams' benefit, to be perfectly honest. I think both teams are more than capable of winning a best of 1 against any of these teams because Counter-Strike's a strange game. If you're playing well and they're not playing well, there's no way that well, sorry, there's certainly a big chance that you can win, right? And then you get into best of threes, and that's where it gets tricky. Like you mentioned earlier, the team that lost 3 best of threes when they got their first 2 best of ones. I forget who who it was. Was it Apex or I can't remember who was it. Bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they may have a similar they would be similar. So may have a similar problem against the top level opposition. So I would put us in there with ITB as no chancers. Like so, but I think we're comfortable there. To be honest, we're just in there swinging digs, and we'll see who goes down first.
So we.
Do you think ITB and no chance as well?
Sorry,
you having ITB and no chance as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. They're in the same boat as us. They just had a life and death best of 3 against us. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we're no chancers, they're no chancers, just as equally. Like,
all right.
Do you know what I mean?
Are we happy with that then, gents? I'll read out the order. So in Should, we've got FaZe, Na'Vi, Outsiders, Gamer Legion, Fnatic, Mouse. In Could, we have Bad News Eagles, OG, Falcons. In Unlikely, we have Bait, One Win, Saw, Apex. And then in No Chance, ITB, Viperio, Sprout.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the 9 teams that should, or could go through, the ones that we've got, and then I think the teams that we have there are like, if you were the bookie, you would probably put those teams not qualifying, but obviously, the UK teams are going to shock the world, and we're both going to go through 3-0. It's going to be incredible. We're not even going to play each other because we've already played each other too many times. And they're all going to be like, what's just happened? And then we'll meet each other in the final, and we'll see what happens in Paris.
Yeah.
Who believes it? Who believes it?
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Right, there you go, gents. There's your RMR A selections. If you want to go and partake, it's on our Twitter at Tier 2 Talk. Go and check it out. We'll drop this probably in a tweet tomorrow and see where everyone's put their placements and whatever. Maybe we do our own, Josh, in a future.
Yeah, do you know what? I think so.
In a future
we should
time.
do our own.
Like,
yeah, we should
maybe it should be me and you, like off stream at some point. Like,
yeah.
If we get another RMRA guest on, we'll be like, this is.
We're gonna
what
have
we
like
think.
9 teams and no chance though.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think you were very like courteous as to like, well, they could. I think me and Josh were like, that, no chance. See you later. I think that's
right. Well, this is pretty much me and Tom here. Like, go ahead, change it.
No, we need our time.
Yeah.
We're
gonna
do
come on, show everyone what you think. Everyone wants to know what do Ryan and Josh think.
I'll say now, there's one team in Could that I'd put in Unlikely, and there's 3 teams in Unlikely I'd put in No Chance.
Right, so you don't rate the French then? You're saying you're giving the French no chance?
I think the French are very unlikely, and I reckon.
I'm with Ryan.
I reckon maybe Bait or what? Like maybe they can both stay, but Saw and Apex are gone in No Chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably true as well. To be honest,
I think One Win's got no chance either. To be honest,
go.
Fresh new lineup, 2 IGLs. Yeah.
Apparently, me and Josh are on the same. Fuck it, let's do it in a minute.
So who goes into Unlikely then? The French.
Yes.
So the
Falcons.
French go down, and then you're relegating.
Yeah.
So you're putting 6 teams in. You agree with our no chancers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not too far away then.
No.
I mean, it's quite easy, I think. Like, not easy, but like there are some clear favourites, and there's also some clear non-favourites.
And it's so easy, man. Let's see you at the fucking RMR then.
Yeah. Christ said you would have made it with me. Where's the confidence? There you go.
That's true, man.
Probably would have.
Probably would have done.
Yeah. I guess now time maybe, Josh, to dig into the RMR a little bit itself.
Yeah, so basically in this bit, guys, we just wanted to get your takes on the run in the open qual and then the closed qual. And you can maybe go game by game. You can tell us like what happened in the team at each time, because obviously, there's a lot riding on both of those qualifiers to get here.
Okay, right, where to begin? Okay, so we so we played a BO3 before the open qualifier started.
Okay.
Versus Sampi, which we
God.
lost.
I forgot all about that.
Last minute, we signed up to the qualifier. The website was broken. We didn't have a fifth. Javi couldn't play because he wasn't there.
I'm not allowed to coach.
Kieran wasn't allowed to coach. Kieran wasn't even there.
No, after the Sampi game, I left. I went and had to go clear my head because I wasn't even able to coach. So
then like last second, we signed up with Rory, who gives me message last second, and Rory just said, yeah, why not? And then we played. I'm not even sure we played. We played
some killers.
Los Kutos, which would be on Vertigo.
Yeah, so
who?
First game, Los Kutos.
Oh, they have it. They have it on the screen.
There you go. So it's Los Kutos on Vertigo, Viperio versus Boomer Demons on Nuke. You then played forward gaming in your BO3. Then obviously it was the seeding games, which you beat, tricked, forfeit against ITB.
And we won every single game with love, kindness, and rainbows, because
That's true.
I mean, like we didn't have a single thing on any map. We literally just were playing with love. I'm not sure. Like honestly, I have no idea. Like
it was
just everything came right together and everything just clicked.
It was a real harkening back to the old Fanbit days when that's all we had. We were running on love and vibes, wasn't it, Tom? Wasn't it? That was what it was like. Just for pure love, man. And it carried us through, and it would put us in good stead. You know, I came back during, I think it was the Los Cugutos game. What was the game right before the Los Cugutos game?
Blink.
Let me see if I can find it for you.
It was Blink. It was Blink.
And Rory just literally just farmed him. I think he dropped like 30 kills, and he just random like there was a round on Vertigo where he was behind all of them, and just started screaming, "I've got all the kills. I've got all the kills. I've got them all. I've got them all." I'm like, we have no idea what's going on, and then all of a sudden he gets like 3 kills, and we're like, and he just go, like his voice just goes like lock camera, he just goes, "Go B."
Yeah,
Really, like...
I think I was watching it on the score on my phone when they were playing Blink. I was like, oh my god, they're about to do something here. And then I rushed home. I was on the computer. I sort of obviously I wasn't able to coach them, but like after the game, I was talking to them. It's like, boys, this is like right there to take. You know, go and take it. There's an opportunity there. Like no one thought we were going to do here. Get here. It's a good run, and they did. And to be perfectly fair, like it wouldn't have been possible without Rory, because after we lost to Sampi like that morning, like, and what rank are Sampi, like 200 or something? Like, you know, it's just a team we should never lose to. Not that they're bad, but like we expect to be beating teams like that. So it was really a weird day. Rory comes in, and like it's like a sort of different energy in the team and belief. And the team played fantastic. You know, it blew me away because I went away and I was like, how did we lose this? And, you know, sort of trying to figure out like how to like sort of pick the pieces up and go on. And then I didn't need to do anything. The boys went and messaged Rory, say, listen, do you want to stop playing Minecraft for like 10 minutes and come play some Counter-Strike? And that's what happened. So there you go. Brilliant.
So you got a decent draw, obviously, against the Olaf Get Right Freiburg team out there in the round of 32. It took a while to close out. Were you worried at all there, Tom?
I don't know. It was weird. Like we knew we were going to win it because it was Nuke. I mean, we were very comfortable on Nuke.
Yeah. I was so surprised. I mean, did they not just do like anything to allow Nuke in a best of one? I was really surprised when that map came through.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to consider like those guys are probably like extremely arrogant about like what map they play. Like the multiple major winners, like we played that like literal 5-stack I think twice in the week before in Face It 5-mans at like 1 a.m. on Olaf's stream and Get Right, and I think we traded games, so they were probably like, we'll just play them on whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like, and fair play, like that's their sort of mentality, you know. But they got punished, and it was a big mistake playing us on Nuke, so they went out.
And then best of 3 next. We're familiar, Ryan, I think, with a few of these guys, but I mean, I've never casted forward. You've got obviously Problem and Lime that used to play on Hellraisers together, and then obviously Mo on K23, and then Gambit, everything before that. I don't know the other 2 guys at all on this lineup.
G-Lame and Zello, right? Or Zello, I don't know.
I think when the team beat Boomer Demons and we knew that it was forward next, we were quite buoyed by it. We were like, because we played them recently, didn't we, Tom?
Yeah.
And beat them, and we weren't impressed. So we were like, we're gonna beat them again. And they did, you know. I mean, like it's like look at Rory, man. Like just on 1.13, like, do you know what I mean? Like the guy rolls off a Minecraft server. He's just after getting his full diamond armor set, and he's just munched these guys like it was nothing. So fair play, man.
There you go.
Okay, well that was the open qualifier at least.
Yeah, close qualifier next. I've done it. I think I've done it the right way, haven't I? No. Yeah, I have. It's okay. Right. So here we are. It's obviously from like single elim killer bracket. You get a few more chances. You get to breathe a bit in the closed qualifier. So the way this works, obviously, it's like a Swiss stage. Top 8 go through. The next 3 playing like some by the way, like before we jump into it, what a fucking weird way to like discover who goes through and who doesn't.
The Booker roll system, right?
This closed qualifier decider bracket where like
Yep.
it's like, well, actually, Yano, because you won, but also saw you won, but because you're worse than 500, oh, play again and one slot this time. It's like, well, I don't quite know.
It's difficult because like we're all very familiar with Swiss's Rhyme, where it's like you get your top 8 that just moves through.
Yeah.
But it's like when you've got more than 8 going through, that's when it gets a little bit more complicated with Swiss brackets.
Yeah.
But,
agreed.
yeah.
But anyway, we can talk about your run a little bit. Started off with 1 win on Vertigo. I guess that loops back a little bit to your point. Saying 1 win unlikely. You guys beat them. How was that game? Obviously, it was the new 1 win team. Higher stakes.
We couldn't have been more happy to get that as the first game. Like the teams in that bracket, like you would be like, there's some teams you definitely don't want to draw, but I think when we drew 1 win, we're like, happy days.
We also like got the video completely wrong.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We went into that game with 0 prep for Vertigo because like it's a new team, so we didn't know. Like they had some weird situation, by the way, that like they were technically like allowed to bring like the core of the roster, but was also like a new core of the roster. So like they kind of messed around with the rules there.
I think the rules were bent, to be honest.
So they shouldn't have been invited there, to be honest. But it's whatever. I don't know. Like we just weren't ready for Vertigo for them to pick it. We were actually expecting Nuke, or I can't even remember the other map.
I think we were expecting Nuke.
But like what happened there was Deco had like one of the worst games possible.
He was like, because we were watching it live, I think, Ryan, and he was really quiet out there in that first game.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even gonna. Does it give me? We'll go this way then. Right here. We'll bring it up on HLTV. There you go.
Because he didn't even have his name as like the one on Steam, did he? When we were watching it on the stream,
mate,
it's like, who's this?
Yeah. Crazy. There you go.
I don't know. I think as well, like really, Deco could have just farmed us on like any other map but Vertigo. Vertigo's a very hard map for an opera to play on. Do you mean like you really only play afterplants? And like sometimes if the CTs make or the Ts make like a mistake, you can kind of capitalize. But it's very hard to get the kills versus like a team that's like very trained and not doing stupid things. Do you mean? So I don't know. I don't know why it was Vertigo, but it went Vertigo, and yeah, he's had like one of the worst performances he's probably ever had.
I mean, as bad of a performance as he's had, I think we did quite well to sort of mitigate that sort of presence. I mean, the team played. I mean, I look at Callum is plus 13 in this game. That's some performance, and Jack's played well as well. So, no, I think the team played well in this game. I was obviously watching it from the sidelines. I like sort of like this. The whole time. But I actually felt that like the boys did very well. And like you might go, well, Daco's better than that, and he is, but sometimes you have to give credit to the team that wins, and I think that we deserve to win, despite per performance.
There you go. Nice. Next game. ITB, the class matchup that it was, 16-12. Vertigo again, I guess kind of leaning in from your last point and into the new one. Vertigo against these guys, I guess playing 1 win and then playing them again must have been okay, because at least you had some knowledge as what you were going on. But Vito here, obviously, it's weird for the majors, right? Because it's not like ban, 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 ban. It's like double ban, triple ban, single ban, decider. Vertigo, you guys obviously removed Ancient. Any preference over Vertigo from Ancient, or was it just like whatever you felt?
I think we always wanted to go to Vertigo. I think
we played them on Ancient when they were Workless Heroes, didn't we? And they destroyed us, so we were sort of maybe a bit PTSD over that. So we're just like, well, we'll play them on Vertigo then and see what happens. I remember watching this game and feeling like we were unlucky. They won a lot of clutches in this series. It was CI series on this map. Like if this clutches had been even, then I think we actually win the game like 16-10 or something like that.
They won 6 clutches and you won a single one on this single best of 1.
This game was like crazy scrappy, and I'm sure they would agree that like it could have went either way. But like the state of Counter-Strike that we played against each other was just like it was like it was like a triple overtime game where like anything goes. Where we were just randomly doing like 1v1s, and I don't know, it was a complete mess of a game from both sides, to be honest. It was just really bad. I don't know. Let's hope we both improve. Like, don't know. Like it was so. I don't know. It was just like we need to play better. I don't know. It was really bad.
Yeah, fair enough. Third game. Speaking of clutches, I know it was a bit of a one-sided game. I remember watching this one live. Fucking Rory, like back-to-back 1v3s in like the first 3 rounds of the game on Overpass. Obviously played Astralis next. It was a loss. Start of the game, think what you were up 4-3, or it was like 3-all or something like that.
Yeah.
You won at clutch as well, didn't you, Tom?
Yeah, I think I won 1 clutch, and then Rory won 3 or 2 back to back, and then it was like,
and then we just lost.
Yeah.
You know, it's Astralis for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like, they're. What else can you say, for fuck's sake? Do you know what I mean? Even if you're winning 1v3s and they're keeping it close, like they just blow us off the server at the end of the day, you know. And there's a lot more for us to do to be able to actually beat those teams.
Fair enough. Short but sweet, I guess. Then round 4, you guys are playing PG-Turao. Obviously, this was a bit of a wild card.
Kieran, just quickly, when you came on, when we did Advanced last season, weren't we talking about these guys in the playoffs? When you came on my stream, weren't we talking about PG-Turao?
We were.
Yeah. Is it the exact same team?
Yeah, it's the exact same team. We drew them. We played them before, Tom, like all season, didn't we? Like
yeah, we played these guys a good bit, to be honest.
When we played these, we drew these guys. We were like, okay, like that's a nice draw. Firstly, right, and 2, it's not going to be easy because we played them before, and like our best map is Nuke. I think that's plain and for everyone to see. So whenever we lose Nuke to anybody, it's like, what happened? Do you know what I mean? We have to go and watch it and like actually see what happened. And they've beaten us on Nuke a couple of times previously, so we went into the game like with fully aware that it wasn't going to be easy. But we prepared for it, and we ended up coming out with like a nice 2-0 victory. Sorry, no, 2-1. They ended up beating us on Nuke again, didn't they? It's been a while, but yeah, no, that was a tricky series. I think
these guys beat Copenhagen Flames as well, like just before this as well, which was like such a crazy upset.
These guys are not a joke. Like, I mean, you'll see them regularly beat teams that people are like, "What the fuck happened there?" Do you know what I mean? But like, we drew them and we're like, well, it could be a bit mad, but we were confident because like they're also an advanced team. They're sort of like us in that regard. So it wasn't like playing Astralis. So we just come off playing Astralis. We're now playing an advanced team. So we had a lot more confidence, and it showed in that series. And we sort of proved we were better, even despite the circumstances that we were under.
By the way, do you see like throughout all this, there's like, we'll probably not beat these guys, but you know, maybe.
What? Yeah, that's true. That is true, actually.
Did you feel as if there was some like struggles to close this game? Because I think on Nuke you were like 9-1 up or something on the T side, and then even on the third map it was like 14-7 or 14-8.
Well, I mean,
so just like the way in, like we are always in this situation, where like we like even at EPIC.LAN, like even now with Extinct, like we're always against teams with a full 5, with a bunch of stuff, bunch of chemistry, bunch of, you know, they have so much. So like we do have a problem closing out games because we have to make adjustments in the game that, like, you know, there might be like an advanced adjustment or something's very simple, but like we have to think about it really fast. And like if we don't think about it fast enough, then like we just lose. Where like other teams that have been together for so long, you know, they have, okay, they're doing this, we're going to do this. They're going to do this, we're going to do this. Which like we have to think about this in the server, and we have to make it up. And it's like that's why we like this game particularly, like on Nuke, we should have won.
Yes.
But like we were like trying to think like, okay, this game, I think we had to like move players from positions because like it just wasn't working.
Bring Nuke up. Yeah, bring Nuke up. Rory had like, see if you actually look at Rory's like run in the closed qualifier and the RMR group, the whatever, he plays incredible the whole time. He plays incredible. Like it's his only bad map. It's plus positive green every other map, and it's the only map he has a bad game. And like Tom's right. Tom's like, we need to move people. People were being moved around, and you know, they're a good Nuke team anyway, so it was a tricky one. That's why it was hard to close it out on our best map, but we Rory absolutely storms back into form in the third map, and that's why we win. You know, if you bring the third map up, I remember saying to him, like, man, just don't even think about that now. You're just going to go into the third map and absolutely do what you have been doing, which he does. I mean, look at that. I mean, totally incredible. Like, to have mental resilience to go from like having your literal worst map the whole time playing to then going straight back to what he's been doing the whole time. So I haven't enough good words to say about Rory. You know, if he had a free schedule and was totally dedicated to Counter-Strike, it would be such an asset for any UK team. He really would be. Such a good player, and such a nice guy as well. Like a really genuinely lovely person. I love him.
There you go. He did write as well in the chat. As soon as Tom said "Go ramp Rory," I fucking lost it. This thing kind of.
Yeah, he swung door like 3 or 4 times, died, and then gives me the round after swung door 3 or 4 times. So I was like, right, okay, someone has to go ramp. Cam has to come A because we can't hold A. It was just like
a third-party keyboard got broken in that nuke game. There you go. Insightful. I guess now we're 2-2. Decider time, right? You guys play Saw. You were talking about this team, you know, we'll relate back to this a little bit. You're saying, like, unlikely. You guys, I mean, to be fair, did very well. I remember watching that nuke game. Yeah, it was, you know, good start. Again, starting to, I guess you play CT side. Maybe it's the same issue as what you were talking about in the last. Anubis looked really good, though. Stats overall across the board. I mean, Jack's the only person that went negative, but even then, like, you know, it was a brilliant game from every one of you, right? That's the game that got you there.
Yeah, this was a really weird one because us and ITB were waiting on this game finishing, and it was the Havu game.
Yeah.
And it was a really weird one. We like Astralis. If Astralis had lost, we would have had to play Astralis, or they would have had to play Astralis, and we would have had Havu. But Havu ended up winning, and sort of like the perfect teams for both teams sort of fell into our laps. I think ITB have matched up well against Havu and did, and we matched up well against Saw. I think Saw, we had an advantage against Saw because they'd gone so close against Astralis. Like, should have beaten them, lose disappointingly, like draining best of 3. Now I have to play us, and then I'll be perfectly honest, they fully trolled the veto. I haven't a clue what they were doing. They felt like they were optimizing the veto or something, but they really dropped the ball picking Anubis. Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
You guys were picking a lot of Anubis even at this time, weren't you?
We're not. I'm not going to say we're Anubis unbelievable team, but like you don't pick Anubis if you're the favorite, in my opinion. Like, you don't, like, not especially with it being so new. Just pick your best map and don't be stupid. Do you know what I mean? Just win your map, and then you'll probably beat us on our map anyway. They didn't do that, and then they sort of go into the rest of the best of 3, sort of like after having lost their map pick, because in my opinion they fully trolled it, having already lost disappointingly to Astralis. It's just like mental gone. We have all the momentum and all, like, because we've just stole their map, and in good fashion. So I think it was like God was on our side or something like that in that day. You know, some crazy decisions made, and we have obviously, like, you've got the stats up in front of you, like incredible performances from essentially everybody on the team there, you know, across that best of 3.
Jack.
Yeah, except Jack, who's sitting there.
Even Nuke, you guys had a seriously one-sided half. Like, I think you got like 11-4 or 10-5 on the first half of Nuke to like give yourself quite a bit of a leverage to close out.
Yeah. Nuke was always going to be close because they are obviously good on Nuke. We knew that despite picking it. You know, the way we look at, maybe it's giving too much away, but like if we can pick one of our best 2 maps in the first 2 things, that it's sort of like a no-brainer. Despite who we may play against, and Nuke is one of those maps, so we picked it, and we've had a fantastic T side. Like, we're very capable of doing, in my opinion, against even the greatest teams on the planet. Like, if we are playing our best, right, and everyone's communicating well, like, we are some team on Nuke, really are. And you know, I was very confident that the team could, after winning in Anubis, take it 2-0, and it was close. So obviously a very good team. But yeah, no, we were better that day, and we were able to touch it.
Nice. There you
I
go.
can't even remember. Rory says 14-14. What happened on 14-14?
I think I put everyone A.
And did Rory just kill
I think
everybody or
Rory got
something?
3. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think pistols. Pistols. I can't remember.
Did we kill them coming out door or something? Did they like try to do a door?
Wasn't he on like top heart or something? I could've
Yeah,
sworn
and he
it was
just
like
killed.
a...
Oh yeah, it was top pot. Yeah, no, that's what it was. Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it looked like we were on the brink of going to map 3 after having done, you know, God's work on map 1, and then yes, that's right. That's remember now. Yeah, they tried to come out A against like a low buy. It's just generally.
Oh yeah, so I'm just watching the VOD now. You guys had like CZs, 5.7s, armor, so not full buy at all, just eco. And then Marco gets opening kill ramp, and then they try and vent drop, I think.
Did we crunch?
No.
Did
I
we
think you just sat on
flash
site.
their smoke?
I think you had like one heart, one site, one top heart, and you just like they kind of all just walked out door.
Gizmy gets a kill on the floor, and then Rory gets one on top heart, and then they rotate down, and then Roman's.
Oh,
like
I remember now. I was blacking out. I was watching it on Jack's stream, right? I'm not even joking, right? My vision was narrowing. I was like, it was going black like this. I swear to God, I was about to faint, and then they win the 14-14 round, and I'm like about to die in my chair, like about to expire in front of everybody. Heart's going like 180 or something crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. That's why I don't remember it.
and then it's the story 1v2 right at the end to close it out when he kills you, Tom. When you're like holding.
Oh yeah, and he comes
ramp
up having them kill. Oh man, that was so like. Oh man. Oh, I really regret that call. I called like I came up vent. I killed like the guy Tetris, and then we leave story on Nook, like or on a site. And then me and Cam group up, or man, like I just say, let's split up and let's play 1v1s because I don't think we had a kit. And then he kills me on the side, and my heart just absolutely just dropped. And he flies up the ladder, and then you knew you kind of get a black screen just after you die. And then Cam kills him, and like everyone in the TeamSpeak just starts screaming. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was incredible. Like I think when Callum killed that guy in heaven, I don't know, I can't even remember what I said to Jack. I don't even remember what happened in like the intervening minutes afterwards in the team speaking. It was just like that. I don't know. I can't even remember.
Yeah, was that the game I was in the vent and I knifed?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I don't know. That was a mad game.
It was a mad game. It was a proper battle.
There you go. RMR run complete. That's in April, if I'm not mistaken, the RMR. You're off to Denmark then, so I know a little bit of a wait, but there you go. To flail the UK flag, the home boys. That's
and the Irish flag.
Yes, yes, of course. Sorry, yeah, of course. There we go. Congratulations, guys. I guess that's the way we end it there. Obviously we've got QnA session as well, Josh.
Yeah, just a few ones. I mean, this actually might touch in quite well with like the whole RMR and everything, because obviously had Rory at the RMR, had Ping at Epic, and now Mattis is back. So can you just like give us an insight for like the last month or so of like what's been happening with the roster, what's happening with the changes?
Yeah, I'll just run through it really fast. So Javi has to pretty much take some personal time off, personal reasons, kind of around Christmas. So we were like, okay, that's fair enough. So he kind of goes to like the sub, and he's subbing him for us, left, right, and center. He's still playing ESEA Advanced for us, but like he still has some stuff going on. So we bring in Bevy. Bevy plays fantastic, but all the rest of us play horrible. Not sure like why, but like Bevy actually played very well for us. During the RMR though, like, not to go too much into detail, but like I was getting messaged left, right, and center of like what was going on and Twitch and stuff like that there. So like it was taking like 60% of my day was the RMR, 40% was the messages I was getting, and I was just like, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it was very against us, and like we couldn't have that in the team. And Bevy would own up to that as well. So I mean, it wasn't ever going to work in the future. Although he played fantastic and like really played really well in the time that he played with us. Then we play EPIC.LAN, and Javi has to jump in like 2 days before the EPIC.LAN. But like I can identify at the EPIC.LAN, like we don't have an aggressive rifle, like kind of CT side, and like the only person like we've played with that can do that is Extinct. So like it was like after I tried to like work out Rory, because he did qualify, and like the reason Rory played the RMR close qualifier over Bevy was just because Rory took time off work, and I think like he should, because he's there to play, and he did qualify. So I was trying to do. I always try and run things as fair as I can.
Yeah.
But then so then we looked at Rory's schedule then after, and it was just like we are dedicating most of our time to this game, and
I can take over there if you want, Tom. Like when we qualified, it was like it then becomes what's the correct decision for the beneficial, for the future of the roster. We're gonna go to boot camp, we're gonna go to the RMR. Like if we're gonna add someone to the team, we sort of had a criteria when we joined Viperio that like there was a criteria that you had to adhere to join the team, and that was to basically have a fully open schedule. Now, if we were to contravene that rule in that moment, then it would sort of put everything that we've done in the bin, and that didn't really sit right with the players. It also wasn't. It's also not conducive to a fully functioning team. Like if you can't have the fully open schedule like everybody else does, which is what has been the case. Like that's why we've been improving, but we're able to do it. That was a big factor. Like Rory could take the time off to go and play in Copenhagen, but what about after that, right? What about 6 months down the line? This team isn't just for Copenhagen. We're trying to make this our job. This is we're trying to be as serious as possible here. And Rory was in a very committed thing in his life. He was doing a university apprenticeship, and it's all tied in, and he's getting paid. It would be very silly for him to drop that to come and play for us when the money wasn't nearly as good. So that wasn't going to happen. So that sort of forces our hand to sort of make the right roster change now. So that's what happened. As for James Bevy, he played very well, like Tom says. He played very, very well for us, but the team didn't play well. As a player in the team, he did everything we asked. Realistically, he was quite receptive to coaching. He was very open to changing things. He was very, let's go watch this demo together. Like, what are we going to do? How can we improve it? I think James has a bright future. It's just like Tom said, there was a bit of interpersonal drama there that didn't need to happen, that sort of broke the trust, and you can't really go forward when the trust is breached like that. So that's why that happened. As for like the player we need back, it's like Tom said, we needed a rifle that we know can slot in and has that open schedule, and Mattis fit all the bills, and the familiarity helps as well. It's not going to be too hard to like bring Mattis back up to speed with what it is we're doing now, as opposed to a few months ago. So, Mattis probably would never have left the team in the first instance if his schedule had been open then, which is why initially sort of main thrust of why he comes out of the team. But so we're very happy to have Mattis back in the team, and we've been having some pretty good results with Mattis, and the improvements are there, and hopefully will be really, really, really dangerous for the RMR in Copenhagen.
I want to jump in real quick. Volt asked a question, and it was, how fast was the decision to get Mattis? Because that came out of nowhere.
Well, what does that mean? How fast was it?
So I guess like from when you realised that Rory wasn't going to be, or from when you qualified to when you selected that Mattis was going to be your fifth.
It was after EPIC.
It was after EPIC. Like we went into EPIC with Javi. And this is God's honest truth. We hadn't made a roster decision until after the final at EPIC.LAN. Like we were sort of weighing all the options. It could be Rory. It might have been Rory. It could have been Javi because he's been in the team. But when we sort of come out of the final and we sort of broke down the final, lost against Coalesce, it's slightly disappointing. Like if we're going to do well at the RMR, we're going to have to beat teams like Coalesce. And we really struggled in the final, and it's not necessarily because it was Javi's fault or anything like that. Javi's a fine player, and he's been in versions of this team and flown very high for us, and has continued to sub for us, and we've had impressive results. So sometimes it's about the makeup of the team, like each player in each role, and we felt like we needed someone like Mattis in the team, and that sort of came after EPIC.LAN, and how fast was the decision? I would say it was maybe it's over like a 48-hour period, I would say, wasn't it, Tom? It wasn't fair.
Even less. Like
it was even less.
We just kind of broke down the coalesce demo and then just kind of made a decision after that. Like,
we had to
kind
act
of exhausted all options. Like
we had to act quickly as well because there wasn't much time. So we'd sort of had this dialogue about like, can Rory do it? Like, what happens next? You know, is that fair on the sacrifices of the players the players on the team have made up to this point? You know, if we hadn't made those sacrifices, there would be no team, right? You know, this team wouldn't exist. So like, is it fair to go, right, well, those sacrifices don't matter. This guy deserved. No, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works, and that's unfortunate. Not that's some people are going to be disappointed, but that's the way it works. You know, you have to put the roster first in every decision. So that's what happened there. But it was very close. When we lost the final, we just felt that Mattis had to come back into the roster and with Faced.
Okay. Obviously we've had you on 3 times now. And since the last time was obviously last iSeries. So I think what a lot of people probably want to know is like, what has been the primary focus since the last episode to now? Like, maybe not so much talking from now till the RMR, but from the last time we had you on to where you are today. What do you think you guys have been like focusing on to be like, that's what we needed to improve on?
Well, it's just like we were saying earlier, Tom. We made a conscious decision that we need to free the schedule up as much as possible, because for even going way back to when Volt was in the team, we had plenty of people in university doing this, doing that, and like there was just no time for all the competition and games for their schedules and those things and practice. So for long periods of time, we were like running off really old strats. Like, it would have been super easy to anti-strat us in most situations. Most of the times Tom's calling off his dome, and the players are the chemistry is so good that like it doesn't matter, because you know Tom can call that in freeze time and it's going to work against top level opposition. So that's what ended up happening. And after iSeries, we're like, well, we can't keep doing this. You know, we're going to continue to plateau if we can't actually put serious time in practice and improvement. So that's the biggest difference since Insomnia. We made that conscious decision, and that's when Mattis comes out of the roster, because he was a big block to that, big barrier to that. A very hard decision, like a really hard decision. That's a member of the core that for years that we're saying no to, which is took like we hemmed and hawed over that for I felt like weeks. So it wasn't easy, and so that was certainly the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that's changed. It's sort of like a approaching seriousness and attitude that, like, you know, we're right here. We just need to go here, and the only way to do that is more practice.
Fair enough. B-Dog asks, so does Mattis have a completely free schedule now beyond the RMR?
Well, Mattis is still in university, but without saying too much, it's much more open than it used to be, and Mattis is making a lot of sacrifices to make himself available for the team, and we're appreciative of that, because we never really wanted to remove Mattis in the first instance. So that's all I.
Obviously, you know, everyone knows UK BISC LANs haven't been all that successful for you guys. Why do you think that's the case, that it's now been 3 LANs back to back in the grand final of not taking it? Is there something that you're noticing in all 3 of them that's like a repeating factor?
Yeah, we actually like being second. We aim, you know, our goal is second place, because, you know, it's better than third, it's better than fourth. Not as good as first, not as good as Rollin, but like, you know, second's all right. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of like, if people seen inside this team, like, I mean, as an IGL, like, it is very hard. You know, I'm struggling like it sometimes, like, but you know, hopefully we're on the right path now.
I think the last 2 defeats that we've had can somewhat be, maybe not the most recent one. We play Coalesce. We're already very close in the rankings. Like, the games go back and forward anyway. Not a disgrace to lose Okay, so that's that one. But the one that we lost, maybe raised a few eyebrows, was Insomnia. But like the server var was red the entire LAN. It was like you couldn't play Counter-Strike on that server. Like if you played Face It on that, you would be like, "What the fuck is going on?" You would, you would unsubscribe. It was that shocking. Not only that, like leading up to that event, it's like I said, there was no practice. It was a sort of follow on from the Fanbit era. It's sort of a bit silly or not embarrassing to say that, but that's the reality of Counter-Strike, like at a semi-professional level. You've got people doing university jobs, whatever it is. So it's very hard to like do all the competition and practice and do your things that you're doing in your real life to make sure the landlord's not taking all your shit out of your house. So Insomnia happens, the Echo one, that's great. But then you go back to when we lost to Smuya and I forget now that ITB roster, with Thomas as well. So Smuya and Thomas, I mean, that's not easy. That's not trivial. We tried our best in that game, and they just sort of had a bit more quality than us. Maybe a bit more stage readiness as well on the people like Smuya and Thomas. And I think Dobbo played really well in that final as well. So, if you take all of the finals in that we've played, I think we've done pretty good. You can't win every final, unless you're like Real Madrid or something like that, or Astralis. So you take the ones you can, and you learn from the ones you can't.
I think just to add on that as well is like my teams have always like we've not always had like we don't have a Smuya, we don't have a Realm, like it's all just UK players trying to like build everyone up. We're like we're working on MMS, we're working on Gizmi, and we're trying to build the players up. Where like some other rosters have always had, I'd have loved to play with Smuya, to be honest.
Oh, same. Oh, it would have been. Or
I'd
Thomas.
love to play with Thomas.
Rowland.
Rowland, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'd love to speak to that guy.
I'm not saying I can't wait.
Like, do you mean like we're always trying to build?
Can't wait to shake his hand.
Yeah.
Just look him in the eyes. He looks like a very scary guy, but I'm sure he's a nice person. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, with all these, like, we have to like get all this experience together. Like, and we don't have a player with like a wealth of experience compared to like rosters like Into the Breach. So like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna take, it is gonna take time, but like we're on the right path now. We're properly like given like 200% of this. Proof that like we're at this boot camp for a full week. So hopefully it's in the right direction, and hopefully we can get good enough before the RMR. Do you mean? But even this week alone, teams that you would think we would lose to, I mean, we are beaten. LDLC, for example. So
Godsend.
Godsend. Like having a close game versus ITP. Like you can see the progress there. It might be slower, but like it is progress. So as long as we keep going on the right path, and I don't know, somehow improve Gizmi, then like we'll be in a nice place.
Fair enough. Adam JC asks, will Viperio still go to the UK lands going forward?
Not good I Series, no.
Never going back to I
Never going
Series.
I-Series.
Unless they like give us all computers, pay for the hotel, pay for the tickets, and then apologize to us. No, never again. I mean, that ever since they sold during COVID or whatever, that's a terrible event. I mean, if any UK teams are even remotely considering going, it's like why?
Dweg
You've no guarantee.
HLTV, mate. That's why.
There's no guarantee that the servers are going to be good. There's no guarantee that the admins are going to know how to restore rounds. There's no guarantee that you're even going to play on LAN. There's no guarantee you're even going to play on LAN. I think most of the games during the one we lost to Smuya and Thomas, but most of the teams were playing online because they couldn't get the servers to work. But the good teams, they got to play on the one server that did work. So it's just an absolute shambles of an event. And not only that, they sort of spit in the face of Counter-Strike scene and go, yeah, we'll just triple the fucking prize pool of Valorant. So do you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, and also it's 17 quid for a burger and chips. Do you know what I mean? Like absolute ridiculous.
What was it here in Poland, Gears?
What?
What was it here in Poland?
No, it's much cheaper in Poland, man. And the fucking burger and chips, it wasn't even that good. I just went up to the board and I was like, listen.
No.
No, listen, I went up. How much is a burger and chips? And they were like, oh, it's like 12 quid. And it's like, well, can I have everything on it? And they're like, yeah, well, it's 17.50. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I think we just lost fucking somebody, and I was just like, whatever. Sat there and at it, and I was just like, this is fucking grim. I just paid 17 quid for this. Like, do you know what I mean? This whole fucking place is cursed, man. And not only that, like the air in England is like fucking polluted or something. Like every breath I take is like weighing me down. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the fresh, clean, crisp air of the rolling hills of Ireland. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's like grey as well. And, get me out of there, man, as soon as possible.
Bad in England.
I'm never going back, man.
Christ asks, what time is Matas's flight to Copenhagen?
The plane's gonna get bombed or something.
Yeah, well, to be fair, afterwards in brackets he put curious, so I don't know. Maybe he's looking to say hello and good luck before he goes. I don't know. Cypher asks, what day are we going to dinner in Copenhagen for biscu?
Oh, I don't mind what day, but as long as I choose, because I have a really good track record of choosing the best places to eat. You just ask your teammate Seb, he'll tell you. Do you know what I mean? The best food he ever had was in Malta, and that was all because of me. So I'll sort something out for Copenhagen, have a wee look, but it doesn't matter what day. Shut up, man. You chose Five Guys when we went to Austria, man. You know what I mean? Like, fucking guys clueless, man.
The Viperio account asks, which player's desk is the messiest?
Sorry?
Which player's desk is
Mine,
the messiest?
actually.
Tom.
Yeah,
Tom.
I have just a bunch of notes.
Can we get a video?
Yeah, can we have
reference?
Can we have a little look up and down the line?
Yeah, hang on. I need to hide
it's
the
probably
strap.
best. Is it probably best for me then?
Yeah, do you
'Cause
want
I'm at the end
yeah.
of
I was
the
gonna
room?
say, get a close up of the strap book behind you as well, right? By the way, the Viperio account, if the white fleeces are on sale, the one that Biscu's wearing, yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to have one
yeah,
for free.
yeah, send it
They're
my
for
way.
sale. Would love to have one for free. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a cracker.
If
We've
they
given
ever-
you exposure on 3
Hold
episodes.
on, I'll
Yeah, I was
swing this
gonna
around
say.
now. So, oh, that's the light. You don't want to look at that. So there, Marco. Though there's the boys there. Callum, where's Callum?
Callum's not here.
Oh, right, so he's dead. Say hello, Jack. Jack.
Is he playing
I got
balloons?
this from
I reckon he's
Extinct.
playing
I got this
balloons.
from Extinct.
What is
so...
he? He's watching the
He's
stream,
queuing
man.
FPLC again with
Yes.
the
Oh,
charity
shit.
matches on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the FPLC, yeah.
What's this? I can't even. What is he giving me? I don't even
I'm
see
a
it.
clown, sorry, signed extinct. Oh,
Oh, right, okay. Unlucky Mattis.
there you go.
I want to know, Kieran, why you subscribed to Twitter Blue?
Yeah, it's not like you invited me or anything. I put a tweet out and I made it wrong. I didn't want to delete it, so I just went, I need to edit this. So I subscribed for a month just to edit one tweet. I'm not even joking. I was like, oh, I really want to edit that tweet. I don't want to delete it. So that's what happened. I'm not. I'll be. The tech will be gone in like a few weeks or something like that. So don't worry. I'm not one of these pretentious guys. Plus, I'm skint anyway. I can't afford 11 quid a month. Fuck me.
The burger and chips, yeah.
Yeah, man. Burger and chips really fucking reamed me, man.
Really set you back there, a year ago.
Yeah, I haven't recovered from that financial hit.
Yeah. Josh, any more questions from your end?
Yeah, how does it feel to lose to Rowland again?
Well, it's just see him in Copenhagen. I can't wait to see him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Hopefully, he doesn't walk down any dark alleys or fall off a
Yeah.
bridge or get hit by a car or
If Joel wants to just attend the RMR as well, godsend.
yeah.
I know they feel, but if Joel wants to come,
I hear there's a couple of fellas
nice to
knocking
meet him.
around Copenhagen at nighttime with balaclavas and big sharp knives. So maybe he should just stay inside. You know what I mean? So just be careful. Good player.
There you go. Christ said I could do another plane job. There you go. Any more, Josh, or are we good there?
Nah, let's wrap it up.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, gents, for joining us. Of course, Twitters will be at the end. They've been showing up on screen the entire time. Yeah, the 3-peat guys. Good luck in the RMR. We'll all be rooting for you. Thanks for joining us again. Is there anything you want to say before we end?
Yeah, just want to thank Zotac for sending us out here. It's been
Hashtag Zotac Bootcamp.
hashtag Zotac Bootcamp. That's right. You've got it down. Make sure to invoice you for that one, or you invoice the but No, we're big up to Zotac. Thanks for sending us out here, and it's really going to help us in the RMR. So we're really appreciative of that. Hashtag ad.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, we'll be billing you later for that. Yeah. No worries at all. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much, gents. We wish you all the best in the RMR. We'll be rooting for you. And yeah, have safe travels. Thank you very much, guys. And see you soon. Bye bye.
Cheerio.
See ya.